account came across my feed over the weekend, and it is phenomenal. In fact, I had to double take this. I thought maybe it's just a lookalike because it is so cringe and goofy looking. Everything about this is so off. So here he is at, I think he says Epcot. He's at a theme park. And the first thing to point out is just his posture. What is going on? What's going on? He's wearing these super silly, like, Vitamin shoes that look super big, and he's leaning forward slightly. It looks like he's a baby that has to... Yes, or like a baby that's learning to walk. Or he looks like a baby. He's dressed like a toddler. And why is he wearing shorts? I can't really put my finger on why, but that is, it's baby mode.
His center of balance is definitely compromised. It's his toesies or his feet. He's pigeon-footed. They're leaning in towards each other. I think the knees are kind of going into. I think he's excited about his drink. You can tell by the way he speaks when we watch the video. He's excited.
He's drawn a crowd too. People who are like, "What the fuck?"
You think that's what the crowd's about?
Why is it not standing that way?
What is that giant baby doing?
The person filming it, yeah, he looks like the giant baby from Spirited Away. And then the video is really good too. He's making a. Did we find the TikTok that he filmed? From his POV, I would love that.
Right. That's a great one.
So anyway, here he is reviewing his drink. Coca-Cola, hello.
There's always been racism in it. It's mainly what it is, you know? Because if you really cared about people coming over the right way, the legal way, then you would make the right way and the legal way clear. And you wouldn't kidnap people at their green card interviews. And you wouldn't have, like, mass people picking people up after baseball practice, okay? If that's what you cared about. And you also, you know, you've structured this thing to make these people seem like monsters. That's been the plan this entire time, because if somebody is a monster, it is part of the human condition and a flaw that we have. And as long as we see somebody as a monster, whether they are or not, we don't really care what happens to them. You know? It's why they can make conditions in prison so bad. Because the assumption is, well, everybody that's there deserves to be there, so screw them. Right? If they don't have clean water, or if they can't shower, or if their food's contaminated, good. Because they did something bad to earn that place, right? And it helps you strip the basic humanity of looking at another person, whether they've made a mistake or not, or looking at another person, whether from a different country or not. And if you get really good at stripping that humanity away, you can do whatever you want, and then you start to be able to do whatever you want to anybody that you want. And that's what's been creeping up this entire time. What started as like, guys, they're eating the dogs. Remember, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, nobody's pets are safe. It was getting so dumb. It was past like, these are criminals and they're killing us and they're coming over here to do terrible things. And then it started to morph a little bit more. Okay, look, I know that they're going through the proper channels and everything, but they have a misdemeanor in another country. Do we really want somebody like that to become a citizen? Maybe we should deport them now. No, I understand that they have their green card, but they also, I don't know, they have this weird passed out like, or they wrote an op-ed I didn't like, or they said a thing that I didn't like. So do we really want someone like that in our country? I know that they are a fully naturalized citizen, but the way that they became a citizen is a little bit under suspect, because I said so just now. So maybe we'll deport them. And now we're all the way to the point that American citizens that I do not like can be gone. And so you see, when you let somebody's humanity get stripped away over and over and over again, and it's in the back of your head, and you even go with the lie. They probably did something, or maybe they shouldn't have done that thing. Or maybe they have a good reason. When you do that enough, and it finally comes for you, don't be surprised. There's always been racism in it. It's mainly what it is, you know? Because if you really cared about people coming over the right way, the legal way, then you would make the right way and the legal way clear. And you wouldn't kidnap people at their green card interviews. And you wouldn't have like mass people picking people up after baseball practice, okay? If that's what you cared about. And you also, you know, you've structured this thing to make these people seem like monsters. That's been the plan this entire time, because if somebody is a monster, it is part of assumption is, well, everybody that's there deserves to be there, so screw them.
Have you ever wanted to make AI videos like this? Well, now you easily can, but
Hey, whether we like it or not, I have a very strong feeling that Stephanie Meyer is about to force a Jacob Black Rolanska Talks coloring book on us, and we are going to be forced to digest the dynamics of their relationship, so it's time for a little primer. I have lots of comments on my account right now saying, oh my god, no, we're going to have to watch Ricky Tikki Tavi being corrupted by Jacob. And that's not wrong. The passage in Eclipse that explains what imprinting is textbook grooming. Jacob is like, it's not a problem. The imprinter starts off as a brother and a friend and a protector, and then at the end, why wouldn't they be together in a romantic relationship? It's terrible. We do not want to see this happen to children. It is one of the many injustices that Stephanie Meyer did to these cute indigenous boys. But just a reminder here that Jacob and the rest of the people that imprint in these stories also do not have a choice in the matter. None of these boys were like, hey, you know what would be sick and a fun idea is if I could get myself chained to, in Clue's case, a 2-year-old. In Jacob's case, a freshly newborn baby. Jacob literally has no choice in the matter. And, like, what's more terrifying is, like, once the imprint happens, like, he can't even have any feelings about it. Like, he automatically is just like, Rolanska talks. Like, it's a brainwash. It's like a chemical brainwash thing that happens to him. So as bad as it is to have to watch whatever is going to be happening with Resume, it's equally bad to have to watch this indigenous boy basically be, like, enslaved to serve this half cold one. Like, they hate the cold ones. They hate the vampires. So just a reminder, like, nobody wins in this situation. I don't want to see all this Jacob slander on my page because it's not even, he has no voice in this. It's coercion. It's mystical coercion. Hey, whether we like it or not.
Well. Tell me something I don't know, bitch. Hi, everyone. Welcome if you're not in no fucking time. It's bitch. It's time for the Daily Screen. Donald Trump. Yes, the man we unfortunately have to call our president / a walking lawsuit with a poorly fitted toupee was told months ago that his name showed up multiple times in the Epstein files. Back in May, his own Attorney General, Pam Bondi, sat him down and was like,
Hey girl, so your name's actually in the files, like, a few times, alongside a whole bunch of other rich and wealthy people. But don't pay attention.
and what did Trump do? Did he release the files like he promised all of his supporters? Did he say, I have nothing to hide? No. He said, let's not release them at all. And then lied on camera in July saying that he was never told that his name was in the files. Babe, we got the receipts and the timestamps. Like you, I don't think there's a way you could just like wiggle your way out of this one. I am sure Jeffrey Epstein had a folder designated just for you with your name in big, bold fucking letters. And you know what's wild about all of this? Trump sued the Wall Street Journal because they did an article where they said that Trump signed the birthday book for Jeffrey Epstein. Yep, that's right. A grown-ass man suing the Wall Street Journal because they reported he signed his name in a birthday book. Which again, if you had no idea what Epstein was doing and you signed your name in his birthday book, that's not incriminating. So why are you suing? Unless you knew what he was doing and still actively signed his birthday book. And you know that makes you look guilty as fuck. You're literally telling on yourself. Like, you're so dumb, it's unbelievable. And now, after all of this buildup, his administration is like, we reviewed the files, there's nothing to see, case closed. But they won't release the files. Why? Because it contains graphic child nudity as well as private information. Right, so redacted. Release the parts that don't traumatize the general public and the victims. What are you hiding? All I have to say is if you have nothing to hide, why are you acting like you do?
Hi, I'm Girly Girl. You're probably wondering how a girl born in the 2000s ended up in a prison in the 1980s.
I banned buying makeup. I'll never use it. You should too.
Ipsy says you. When I was running for office, I did not have health care. Close family friend gifted shower head for my wedding. Should I gift them a picture frame for their anniversary? When I got married, a close family friend was really upset that I decided to only have my nieces at the wedding, excluding other children. They were quite rude about it, but eventually they accepted that it was going to be a child-free event. On my wedding website, I mentioned that that we didn't want gifts and instead preferred contributions to our honeymoon fund. Every single guest either gave us a check or sent money with a card, except this friend. They gave us a shower head. While it wasn't a cheap one, it was odd, especially considering they work in that industry, so it likely didn't cost them much. My husband found it particularly strange given how much of a fuss they made about their daughter not being invited. Fast forward to now. They're celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary and are essentially throwing another wedding. She's asked for my help several times because she liked how my wedding turned out. So I've assisted with designing invitations and other details. In her invitation, she specifically requested cash gifts, and when we discussed it, she casually mentioned that she hadn't realized she was supposed to give us cash at our wedding, and just said, quote, "Oops, sorry about that." Now her event is this Saturday. My husband suggested that instead of giving them cash, we should gift them something like a nice picture frame. We're about to leave for our honeymoon, so we don't have a lot of extra money to spend. Plus, they didn't give us money, so it feels fair. But I'm unsure. Would it be petty to give just a picture frame with a card? Or should we just give them $50 or something? My mom thinks it's petty and got mad at me for even considering the picture frame. Would I be the asshole if I gift them a picture frame and a card instead? It's tacky. They were tacky. I would meet them at the level they met you at, especially given they work in the shower bath industry and they likely got that for free as like a sample so you can promote their company or sell the product. Close family friend gifted shower head for my wedding. Should I gift them a picture frame for their anniversary? When I got married, a close family friend was really upset that I decided to only have my nieces at the wedding, excluding other children. They were quite rude about it, but eventually they accepted that it was going to be a child-free event. On my wedding website, I mentioned that we didn't want gifts and instead preferred contributions to our honeymoon fund. Every single guest either gave us a check or sent money with a card, except this friend. They gave us a shower head. While it wasn't a cheap one, it was odd, especially considering they work in that industry, so it likely didn't cost them much. My husband found it particularly strange given how much of a fuss they made about their daughter not being invited. Fast forward to now. They're celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary and are essentially throwing another wedding. She's asked for my help several times because she liked how my wedding turned out, so I've assisted with designing invitations and other details. In her invitation, she specifically requested cash gifts, and when we discussed it, she casually mentioned that she hadn't realized she was supposed to give us cash at our wedding, and just said, quote, "Oops, sorry about that." Now her event is this Saturday. My husband suggested that instead of giving them cash, we should gift them something like a nice picture frame. We're about to leave for our honeymoon, so we don't have a lot of extra money to spend. Plus, they didn't give us money, so it feels fair. But I'm unsure. Would it be petty to give just a picture frame with a card? Or should we just give them $50 or something? My mom thinks it's petty and got mad at me for even considering the picture frame. Would I be the asshole if I gift them a picture frame and a card instead? It's tacky. They were tacky. I would meet them at the level they met you at, especially given they work in the shower bath industry and they likely got that for free as like a sample so he could promote their company or sell the product. Close family friend gifted shower head for my wedding. Should I gift them a picture frame for their anniversary? When I got married, a close family friend was really upset that I decided to only have my nieces at the wedding, excluding other children. They were quite rude about it, but eventually they accepted that it was going to be a child-free event. On my wedding website, I mentioned that we didn't want gifts and instead preferred contributions to our honeymoon fund. Every single guest either gave us a check or sent money with a card, except this friend. They gave us a shower head. While it wasn't a cheap one, it was odd.
Would I be able if I call off the wedding because of my fiance's family tradition? My fiance proposed to me in February. We're planning on getting married next year. The thing is, he recently told me about a tradition he has in his family. It turns out that in his family, only the bride and all the men from her side and her husband's side can be present at the wedding. Then, 2 weeks after the wedding, the women throw a separate, smaller party for themselves, where the husband is the only man. My fiance and his family say it started when his great-great-grandmother was the only female in her family, so the women on her husband's side decided to have 2 separate parties
Hi.
so she
Hi.
wouldn't feel uncomfortable. No, I don't get that either. I asked his brothers, wives, and they confirmed that they had such weddings. I also saw photos, just all men and the bride. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more it annoys me. For many reasons. 1, I can't imagine getting married without my mother and sister and all of my friends. 2, I really hate that he never told me before. We've been together for 3 years, and we immediately took this relationship very seriously. I got to know his family, and it seemed to me that we were so close. My fiance, however, thinks I'm overreacting. He thinks it's just a family tradition, and I shouldn't worry about it. And it's weird to get rid of an entire relationship just because of something like this. He also doesn't even want to talk about a normal wedding. And yes, it's 100% a family tradition. He's from Poland, and I'm from Germany. But top comment, what other family traditions is he going to spring on you? And somebody else said, yes. I would be finding out if there are any traditions about children too, like the firstborn daughter is always named Hildagger, and the son is always named Socrates. Would I be the if I call off the wedding because of my fiance's family? Would I be the wanna call up?
I left my husband while he was recovering from surgery, and I don't regret it. I was married for 8 years, and last month, my husband had major back surgery, and I helped him through the entire process. Scheduling appointments, sorting out insurance, pre-op things. I even used my PTO to take care of him during recovery. But during that time, I was doing everything, cleaning up after him, managing his meds, changing his dressings. He still managed to belittle me. He would grunt at me if the food wasn't hot enough. He would snap if I forgot to bring water upstairs. And then he would accuse me of treating him like a burden when I was just trying to take a 5-minute break. And the last straw was when I walked in on him texting another woman. And when I asked him who it was, he told me, "Don't start drama. I need peace while I heal." So I packed my things while he was asleep and I left. He's texting everyone that we know saying that I abandoned him. But nobody knows what he would say to me when the doors were closed. And I've carried this for weeks, but I just don't feel bad anymore. I just feel free. I left my husband while he was recovering from surgery.
At my hinge match, he was weird and not in a cute way. I'll call my match Matthew. He is 24 male, and I am 22 female. Matthew and I decided to make a date plan last week. I wanted to meet at the mall. He wanted to meet at a shopping complex like Target, TJ Maxx, all those places connected together. I thought, okay, whatever. We meet at Target. We went into Target. He bought a jar of pickles and a Nintendo Switch game, which wasn't even the weird part. We talked for a while. He talked about his relationship with his family, which was all fine until he got to his aunt. All of his words were, quote, "My aunt is super cool. She's 58 but has the body of a newly broken in star."
What the fuck?
What? Why is that the comparison? I asked him if him and his aunt are close. It's giving they did it, but I just can't prove it. They are so close that they are practically roommates sometimes. He goes over to her place a lot. Matthew's mother says that their relationship is weird, but he doesn't agree. Even though they share a bed sometimes when he stays the night. And she lives in a 3-bedroom apartment. Trust me, I was asking follow-up questions. Did I mention he's 24? He showed me pictures of his aunt, and she does have a great body for someone who's 58. He showed me a video of him and his aunt dancing at his prom. Yes, his prom. His aunt was the main theme of our 3 to 4 hour date. I ended up getting him to change the subject, thankfully, but I was already turned off. After the date ended, he said I was cool because most girls show visual distress over him sharing my words about his aunt. I told him that I'm just better at hiding it. He thought I was joking. Before we departed, I asked him why he put a Nintendo Switch game and a jar of pickles. He said it's because he was heading over to his aunt's after this, and she really likes pickles, and he uses them as a bribe. That way he can clear Switch. I told him in the nicest way that his mom was right about him and his aunt's relationship, and in the future it should not be brought up as much. He got mad and said I quote thought he would be dipped. Boy, sorry, am I overreacting for calling my brother the P word over his relationship with a 16-year-old? I 26 female recently found out something disturbing about my younger brother. And it's torn apart my relationship with both him and our mom. Made an outside perspective because I'm starting to wonder if it went too far. Yesterday I heard from his ex-girlfriend, they broke up recently, that my brother was now seeing a 16-year-old girl. I was shocked. I confronted my mom about it. She didn't deny it, but admitted she knew and was trying to keep it a secret because she knew how I'd react. That made it even worse. I ended up sending my brother a long and angry message.
Noi.
Let me go back and listen to it again.
Swaby to Rue.
My younger brother is 20, and it's torn apart my relationship
23.
Okay, so pedophile.
Yeah.
with both him and our mom. Made an outside perspective because I'm starting to wonder if it went too far. Yesterday I heard from his ex-girlfriend, they broke up recently, that my brother was now seeing a 16-year-old girl. I was...
Yeah. Oh, hi, baby
I
girl.
bought a new mouse.
Okay.
This one's kind of sucky.
Okay. That's fine.
It's only $100. I'm joking. 25.
Okay. Well, I hope it works well.
Me too. Oh, honey, should I get you this keyboard?
Now that's perfect. Light up and pink.
And typewriter style.
Yeah, the lights over here kind of help, but it's definitely hard to like see the keys. I have to like really stare at it in order to type anything out.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's alright. It works. Besides, I mostly use the computer for playing games, so it's not that big of a deal.
And Frobby Sebrum. Vanoy?
Ribaza. Sickerfish Yikla. Yaba.
shocked.
Tunisia
I confronted
Primo,
my mom about it. She didn't
Finlayana
deny it,
Beth,
but admitted she knew and was trying to
Senzini
keep it a secret
Delurbo,
because she knew
Ringa,
how I'd
Yakalo.
react. That made it even worse. I ended up sending my brother a long and angry message telling him how inappropriate and unacceptable it is for a 23-year-old to date a 16-year-old. I told him that even if it's technically illegal in our country, there's still a huge imbalance in maturity, power, and life experience, and that it's morally wrong and socially unacceptable. He didn't reply to this message, but I called my mom and she told me that he was upset by it. I later found out that he is also her supervisor at work, though, which makes it even worse. People at this workplace apparently called him the P word behind his back, which just confirms how messed up this is. Our mom keeps defending him, saying things like, "Mom, he might wait until she's 18, as if that makes it any better.
Wait until she's 18 for what?
I was so angry and disgusted that I ended up calling my brother directly. So my mom got really upset, started crying, and hung up. Since then we haven't spoken. I feel sick about all this. I feel like I should have said something, and I still believe he's completely in the wrong, especially given the power of health and the fact that he's her boss. Now, at the same time, I'm now estranged from my family, and my mom keeps making me feel like I'm the one who's overreacting to the family. Am I overreacting?
You
Using that word. Should I try to fix this? Or is this something I'm right to wrong? Hey, if you like that story, guess what? You can go and find creamy peanut.
Am I the asshole for now keeping secrets from my grandma because she ruined the gender role?
Damsonar?
My husband and I are celebrating and about to have our first baby in December. This after miscarriages and adoptions going through. I've been telling my close family all the details from the beginning in case I lose this baby as well. I wanted to wait to announce to the world, but my grandmother kept pestering me about just letting her tell everyone since she's so excited. It made her really distraught when I told her I wanted to announce the baby to the world on my own terms. When I finally announced to our church, she was upset I hadn't allowed her to do it earlier because
You want
I'm
wireless stuff or wired?
Wired, because then I wouldn't have to worry about battery.
Ooh, yibs.
I might get this.
Khalifa.
Okay,
Amazonas.
that's not bad.
Ah. Bouchon.
getting big enough to notice. Now we found out the gender last week. I
That's
told her this morning I wanted
this. Gotta give you that.
I definitely might give in and get that cushion thing for this chair. Because I find that like my butt hurts when I play on it too long.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But they have like cushion stuff. I don't know. The blanket definitely like helps, but it's definitely like not a comfy chair.
Understandable.
It's a way to announce to the world. I didn't want a gender reveal party, but I still wanted to be able to tell everyone on my own terms. She didn't care for my answer and told everyone in our church. We have a very small town/community. The gender this morning when I wasn't around. Church members began walking up to me saying, "Congratulations on baby's gender." My sister saw I was obviously distraught and told my grandma to stop telling people, which upset her more. Now I feel like I can no longer share information about my baby without her getting behind my back and telling everyone every little detail. My father says I'm overreacting because this baby is all she has. She already has 3 other great-grandchildren she wants nothing to do with. I just want information released when I'm comfortable to. Top comment, you're not the actual link. Well, my father says I'm overreacting because this baby is all she has. And they say being is no excuse for stealing someone else's big moments, especially ones that are so sensitive. Am I the fool for now keeping secrets from my grandma because she ruined the gender? My husband and I are almost 30 and about to have our first baby in December. This after multiple miscarriages and adoptions falling through. I've been telling my close family all the details from the beginning in case I lose this baby as well. I wanted to wait to announce my my grandmother kept pestering me about just letting her tell everyone since she's so excited. It made her visibly distraught when I told her I wanted to announce the baby to the world on my own terms. When I finally announced to her church, she was upset I hadn't allowed her to do it earlier because I'm already getting big enough to notice. Now we found out the gender last week. I told her this morning I wanted to wait to announce to the world. I didn't want a gender reveal party, but I still wanted to be able to tell everyone. She didn't care for my answer and told everyone in our church. We have a very small town/community. The gender this morning when I wasn't around. Church members began walking up to me saying, "Congratulations on baby's gender." My sister saw I was obviously distraught and told my grandma to stop telling people, which upset her more. Now I feel like I can no longer share information about my baby without her getting behind my back and telling everyone every little detail. My father says I'm overreacting because this baby is all she has. She already has 3 other great-grandchildren she wants nothing to do with. I just want information released when I'm comfortable to. Top comment, you're not the asshole, and then they quote, my father says I'm overreacting because this baby is all she has. And they say being old is no excuse for stealing someone else's big moments, especially ones that are so sensitive. Am I the asshole for now keeping
r/true unpopular opinion. Alright, let's go. Freedom of speech means I get to talk to introverts.
even me? Who told you that you can't do that? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I don't think you know what any of these words
This post might be the epitome of making someone up to hate. Okay. Freedom of speech means I get to talk to introverts. That's right. If I see an introvert, I'm allowed to try to make small talk with them. Of course, they don't have to answer. They can just walk away from me or just stand there silently, but that's gonna feel awkward. And since introverts are the ones who constantly think about social situations / awkwardness, they're probably likely to feel compelled to respond. It might suck for them, but I'm allowed to do this. It's my right. That's it. That's an unpopular opinion.
What do you think an introvert is? Do you think they're like a creature?
Arps.
I'm a creature.
I'm allowed to poke the creature at my discretion. It's my right.
It might tear me apart limb from limb, but it's my right. What are you fucking talking about? They're human beings.
Sure, they cannot respond, but then it's gonna be awkward for them.
Really? I think that's what people don't like, is making up shit that isn't fucking real on the internet. And then people turning around and being like, that's not based on reality. And I flip-flop. Because it's like, yeah, it's the internet, bro. What do you think it is? You think this is reality? No, it's the internet space. Come on, we in the space. And then I flip-flop to, what are we doing? What's the point? What's the fucking point, man? What is this about? What is this propaganda for or against? I don't know. Are you just 12 and you're putting some words together?
Yeah.
See what gets you points? I don't know.
Yes, r/true unpopular opinion. Alright, let's go. Freedom of speech.
Bella Swan gives birth to Velocitox, to a demon spawn, to a bebe that is growing so fast, and yet she's like, I don't need to watch over her on my first nightmare. I don't need to do it. I need to go to my fob house. This is Bella's description of how much Velocitox changes in 1 hour. 1 hour after she meets the baby. She says the difference between Velocitox an hour ago and Velocitox now was subtler. Human eyes never would have detected it, but it was there. Her body was slightly longer, just a little bit slimmer. She's a skin legend. Her face wasn't quite as round. It was more oval by 1 minute degree. Her ringlets hung a 16th of an inch lower down her shoulders. Now Bella observed this while Carlisle is doing his tape measuring of Orcus Cube, which he does 4 times a day, because that's how fast she's growing. Bella takes all of this in, and is then distracted by the fact that they're like, surprise, Bella, you're actually 19, and she's like, no, I am not 19. I'm 18 forever. They give her a cottage, and she goes and she has biblical relations with Edward for 12 hours. Without this baby, who grew that much within an hour? She could come back to a 17-year-old. The baby could be elderly by the time she's done with Edward that night. She doesn't know. Bella Swan gives birth.
Am I the asshole for asking my future in-laws for money? My fiance's parents are loaded, full money loaded. They can afford what I'm asking, no problem. I make very good money at my job. I'm currently 27, and I earn over $170,000 a year. Tim is a teacher. He doesn't work as much, but he has a trust fund, so he works sort of as a public service. It's big in his family. Recently, I had a weird conversation with him and his folks. They think after the wedding, I should quit working and be a stay-at-home mom. I thought they were joking, and I kind of laughed. They were perfectly serious. They think it's emasculating that I earn more than Tim. Over the course of my career, I will earn much more than him, but his trust fund is low 7 figures. He can afford to pay me what I earn yearly, but he can't due to the stipulations of his trust. His mom, on the other hand, has lots of interest built up in her trust. So I offered a solution I thought was fair. They set up an irrevocable trust for me. They must contribute my gross earnings yearly with bumps for anticipated raises and promotions. The deposit would be for the next 35 years. That was, I'm a stay-at-home mom, Tim is the breadwinner, and I'm protected in a case of divorce. They went fucking nuts. Apparently, I'm ridiculous for thinking they will give me money. I offered a compromise. I signed a prenup wherein I'm entitled to half of Tim's trust fund in the case of divorce, or if I give up my career. Also not acceptable to them. I'm kind of at a loss. Do they honestly think I would give up my career with zero safety net? My mom says I'm being kind of rude, putting everything in such stark monetary terms. I think I'm being reasonable. What do you think? Am I the asshole for asking my future in-laws for money? My fiance's...
Would I be the asshole if I give my daughter a outdated name? This is gonna be one that's gonna be really hard to get me to give a shit about this, I think. Hi, 32 female. I'm currently 7 months pregnant, and we were told by the doctor that it's going to be a girl. So me and my husband, 33 male, have been thinking of names until we decided on a name we like. We decided to name her Audrey. That's great. I knew Audrey's growing up. But they're all dead now. They're extinct. Yep. And when I told everyone that at the baby shower, one of my sisters told me it was a outdated name, and that she'd get bullied for having a name like that. No. Which is funny, because she wanted to name her daughter, Ashley, spelled A-S-H-H-L-I-E-G-H. Pronounced as Ashley before her husband stopped her. The Ashley of it all. The Ashley of it, the tragedy of it all. Yeah, the tragedy. Yeah. After a while of her making comments about the name, we eventually just kicked her out of the shower, and I blocked her on all social medias when she kept messaging me, telling me to change the name. There's not enough cheese in there! Yeah. Put a bunch of cheese and H's! You gotta put it in there! You gotta put them in there. So would I be the asshole if I named my daughter Audrey? No. It's a beautiful name. It's a great name. Outdated is a funny adjective for a name that I can think of like 3 people having for sure in my life. Like, I know people that were were in my graduating class that had it. Would I be the asshole?
Trump's White House is melting down over South Park. From South Park showing Trump supporters flipping out on him because he's making their lives worse and then calling him an R-worded F-slur. They also showed him being a fat slob with a tiny penis and showed him being in a sexual relationship with Satan. With Trump's tagline throughout the episode being, "I'm gonna sue you, no one makes fun of me and gets away with it." Jesus himself even warning the town that the show could get canceled by Colbert if they keep making fun of Trump. They even suggested that Trump could actually be Saddam Hussein in disguise. So to close, they attacked their parent company for caving to Trump and ended with an AI-generated Trump PSA showing him completely nude wandering the desert with a teeny tiny penis. Right, also a key thing is that just before this episode, one, Paramount gave the show a $1.5 billion deal, and two, they just settled with Trump for $16 million plus side deals, setting aside millions of dollars of free PSAs for conservative causes. And with all this, it seems like the first time that South Park is directly engaged with Trump and yet the White House freaking out. The White House spokesperson reportedly saying, "The left's hypocrisy truly has no end. For years, they have come after South Park for what they labeled as offensive content, but suddenly they are praising the show, just like the creators of South Park. The left has no authentic or original content, which is why their popularity continues to hit record lows. This show hasn't been relevant for over 20 years and is hanging on by a thread with uninspired ideas and a desperate attempt for attention." Right, the White House, they're essentially fighting with 4 cartoon fourth graders. But hey, I guess anything's better than them having to actually address the Epstein allegations and not do other stuff to distract. For now, follow to stay in the loop. Trump's White House is melting.
Am I the asshole for lying to my disabled sister about the dates of our trip so she couldn't come, and then refusing to apologize when she found out? I, 32 non-binary, planned a 3-week trip to Europe with my brother and 2 close friends. We were going to Italy, France, and Spain, mostly by train, and the itinerary is pretty plain, but active. Lots of walking, early mornings, and trying local food. I have traveled with each of them before, and we've all had a great time. My younger sister, 26 female, is not an easy person to travel with. She uses a walker, which makes traveling very slow and complicated, especially in Europe. She's extremely picky, eating unfamiliar food, has walked out of restaurants because the menu stressed her out, doesn't like walking, gets overwhelmed easily, and has caused issues on past trips, including once making me miss a flight because she refused to leave the house without taking 90 minutes to curl her hair, and underestimated how long security would take to inspect her walker. When she heard I was going to Europe, she asked if she could come. I didn't want to say no because that might cause drama, so I just lied about the dates. I told her we were going in August, knowing well she had a wedding that month that she couldn't miss. In reality, we booked the trip for the first 3 weeks of September. Everything was fine until next week, when she saw my brother post something on his Instagram story mentioning that it was only 2 months until Spain. She confronted me, put 2 and 2 together, and realized I lied about the dates. She was furious. She said I was manipulative, cruel, and that I excluded her on purpose. She's not wrong about that last part because I did exclude her, but I didn't do it to be cruel. I just wanted this trip to be fun and smooth, and based on her track record, I didn't think she'd make it enjoyable for us. My parents are now involved. They say lying was immature and I should have just talked to her like an adult. Maybe they're right, but I also knew if I had said no directly, she would have guilt-tripped me and probably tried to force her way in anyway. She's done this before, and I think she's planning a trip with my parents now.
Well, Jeannie.
Coincide in time and location with ours. So am I the fool for lying to my sister about the dates of our Europe trip to prevent her from coming and refusing to apologize even after she found out?
You am I the asshole for putting a stop to my 12-year-old daughter's period party update? Haha. Funny thing happened. I did not realize that OP had even made an update until I was done with the first video, and bitches be lazy, so I didn't want to go back and redo it. But I am gonna link the original video in the caption of this one so you guys can still find it. Here's your update. Hey everyone, I thought I'd post an update. Yes, it's quick, but it's just a further explanation plus some commentary. First, I'd like to thank everyone who supported my decision. Also, I'm not gonna divorce my wife or anything like that. She's an incredible woman, and as corny as it sounds, my one true love. She's been an amazing mom, never done anything like this before. Wasn't planning on posting it to social media. She barely even uses Facebook. She just made a misstep here, for reasons which I will get into shortly. Y'all be going to divorce immediately. I didn't even think about telling you to leave your wife. I just said she fucking sucked. Like, in my opinion, she fucking sucked and just needed to be a little bit patient. Y'all immediately said don't divorce her. Damn. I can't respond to every comment, but I'll tell you that caught my attention. My 12-year-old did in fact get the talk from my wife and she took it on. So she knew what was happening, but it was still something that she hadn't experienced before. So it threw her a little bit. I emailed my 2 closest sisters, and they both said in their opinions, her reaction was normal. As one of them put it, even at best, it can be a shock, regardless of whether or not you're prepared for it. That's true. That's true. My mom started talking to me about my cycle when I was 9. Mine started at 13. I woke up at 13 and thought someone tried to kill me in my sleep. I did. I went to my mom and was like, Mom, I'm bleeding. looked at me and she was like, yeah, you sure the hell are going to bathroom. I'll be in there in a second. And that was it. Like, I genuinely thought death was upon my door. And she was like, no, you're okay. Calm down. So even though I had years of talkings about this, my mom would tell me to go into the store and pick her products so that I knew exactly what I was looking for. I still immediately thought that I was going to die. So yes, being shocked is 100% normal. My sister said it's shocking because it just happens. Even if you felt PMS-style symptoms without ever having felt them before, you may not guess what they were until afterwards. No, I didn't notice the decorations were being put up. I had to go out and run some errands related to my job. I was gone about 3 to 4 hours. That's more than enough time for my wife to decorate. Before we had kids, my wife and I agreed we would treat boys or girls the same when it came to bodily functions. I.e., we would make sure that boys would be comfortable going to her with questions or problems if I wasn't around, and vice versa. Over the years, we would keep up with age-appropriate literature so we would be equally informed. I like that. You guys are doing the damn thing. Like you said, I think this was just a misstep. I truly think she got caught up with the internet craze and kind of just took it and ran with it and just genuinely forgot that her kid is just not one of those kids that are open about things like this. It just so happened that we had only girls. Around 10 or so, when they started wanting more detailed explanations of where babies came from and such, we always conducted such conversations as a team, making it clear to each of them that they could count on either of us. That being said, there have been some things which I never took part in. For example, my 19-year-old never asked me to take her bra shopping. That was all my wife. She did, however, occasionally ask me to pick up tampons or such in the years before she went to college. Now that I think about it, I've never asked my dad to take me shopping for bras either. Never. And honestly, it just was never a thought. It genuinely was just not something that I preferred my mom or my dad, because I'll call my dad right now and tell him I need tampons and he will be here before I hang up the phone. No hesitation. My dad is one of those men. But I never once asked him about bra shopping. My 12-year-old did not wait to tell me. It happened right after she got home from school on a half day. My wife works 10-hour shifts, so she wouldn't have been there, as I said in my original post, for another 4 hours. My 12-year-old has always been closer to my wife than me. My 19-year-old was closer to me than my wife, but I was the one that was available. I'm sure that if we both had been around, my 12-year-old would have gone to her mom. I wasn't trying to claim the dialogue was verbatim with what we said. My memory isn't that good, but the general tone is there, and some of it did in fact. So after a few days, things around the house went back to normal. My wife cooled off, my 12-year-old began talking to her again, and they didn't appear to have any issues. Except that my 12-year-old has began to come to me more often about things instead of her mom. My wife has obviously noticed, as they've been very close before this, and she was hurt, but said nothing. I guess she figured that she deserved it. Finally, one day after I got back from taking our 12-year-old to school, my wife asked me if she was still angry with her. I said that I didn't think so, and my wife just kind of deflated. She looked so miserable that I actually got worried, and I asked if she was still angry. She said no, and then admitted that she fucked up and had gotten too into the concept of what others were calling a menstruation celebration. I knew it. I knew it had something to do with that fucking internet and the period parties and shit. A menstruation celebration. That's a great phrase. It even rhymes. OP is funny. She said that she had been so focused on making sure our 12-year-old had a positive experience that she brushed aside her reluctance to take part. And in my wife's defense, our 12-year-old regularly does this. She'll say that she isn't looking forward to doing something, but if she pushes past her shyness and takes part, she nearly always has a good time. I understand that, but sometimes you just have to take her word and listen to her. My wife genuinely thought this was just another example of her 12-year-old doing that and didn't take it seriously. Then my wife said something that threw me for a loop. She asked if I thought our 12-year-old hated her now. I was stunned and I automatically replied, of course not, she's just... And then I kind of trailed off because I didn't really know what to say. Upset was what I finally settled on. My wife was quiet, and then I asked her why she'd been so insistent since she hadn't tried to do this for our 19-year-old. Our 19-year-old got hers at 13 while they were out shopping. It was handled before they even left the mall. My wife said when her 19-year-old started, it was just a busy day that she didn't really have any time to think about it beyond, quick, let's get to the bathroom so I can help you. And it wasn't until after this that my wife really thought about her own first, which basically consisted of her being told virtually nothing beforehand by her emotionally manipulative mother. They've been no contact for about 15 years, barely being 12 when it happened, and when she did go to her mom, only being handed a box of pads and warned to not get pregnant. Nothing more was ever said about it between them, and my wife had to learn nearly everything from a friend's mother. Yeah, that old woman is a piece of work. My wife was determined that she wouldn't behave like that towards our 12-year-old when it happened. But as events showed, she basically went too far in the other direction. Then she asked me what I thought she could do to fix this. I told her the truth. Our 12-year-old probably wasn't going to feel comfortable confiding in her again for a while. But if she really wanted to apologize, she should tell the 12-year-old what she just told me. And so she did. My wife went to pick up our 12-year-old from school. And when they got home, I saw they had both been crying. But they also seemed happier. Turns out, I wasn't quite right. My 12-year-old had still been harboring some resentment towards my wife for trying to push her into the PP. But after hearing my wife's story, my 12-year-old decided to forgive her, only asking that my wife promise to not do something like that again. I love it. So we're heading into a happy ending. I love it. And 2 months later, this happened in May. Things between them seem to be back to normal. Maybe not the most exciting resolution, but I don't think my 12-year-old is going to hold a grudge over this or permanently damage their relationship. I absolutely love an update that has a happy ending, and I do get why your wife was so insistent on doing this for your daughter. No, I don't think it was right, but she was trying to right the wrongs that were done to her when she was a young teen. She wanted to make sure that her daughter didn't end up out in the world having to learn from other people when the responsibility falls on her parents. I completely understand that. She just came on a lot of it too fucking strong, and I really love that everybody was able to speak their piece, everybody was heard, and the situation seems to be resolved. I love this so much for you guys. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's in the same league as me?
Fuibak Dutsuo, Dolbe, Che, Quips Drift Swang, and
My friend, 19 female, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type that always says she wants a boyfriend, wants to do couple things, feels lonely, single, etc. She's also, in my opinion at least, very normal and average looks-wise. Not ugly, but not super hot, just alright. Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men that are on the app are ugly, short, etc. And that she doesn't match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly, and she showed me her likes, and it mostly showed people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. I told her that these guys were all in her league and she should give some of them a chance, since she always complains about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she's in the same league as them and said that she's so much more attractive than them. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she does find attractive, so she's not in their league. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's in the same league as men she calls ugly? They thought they were going to get away with it. 2 teenagers, 1 murder, a cross-country run, and a plane straight out of a horror movie. Daniel Houseman was a 45-year-old father living in Las Vegas, Nevada, a former Navy serviceman. He was disciplined, hands-on, and devoted to raising his daughter Sierra. But everything shifted when 16-year-old Sierra began secretly dating 18-year-old Aaron Guerrero. Daniel immediately disapproved. Aaron had a reputation, manipulative, controlling, and impulsive. The relationship got intense fast, with the teens talking about running away together and even dying together. Both families stepped in and forced them to break up. Phones were confiscated, contact was cut, but Sierra and Aaron didn't let go. They were about to make sure that no one could keep them apart, especially not Sierra's father. On April 8, 2021, Aaron ran away from home and met up with Sierra. That same day, they went shopping, but not for clothes or snacks. They bought gloves, bleach, saws, everything they needed to clean up a mess they hadn't even made yet. That whole day, Sierra's grandmother, Daniel's mother, kept texting, trying to reach Daniel. Sierra kept stalling, replying that he was in the shower or that his phone was acting weird, but she was buying time. The next day, April 9th, Sierra's grandmother grew more suspicious and sent a friend to check on Daniel's house. The front door was unlocked. There was a huge burn mark on the floor of the living room. The house was silent. No Daniel, no Sierra. But near the garage door, they made a horrifying discovery. Daniel's lifeless, burned, and dismembered body was stuffed inside a sleeping bag. He had been stabbed multiple times, cut apart using a circular saw, and left in a garage where the teens had tried to destroy the evidence by lighting the body on fire. It was one of the most gruesome crime scenes the responding officers had ever seen. And the most chilling part, Sierra and Aaron were gone. They thought they were going to get away with it. 2 teenagers, 1 murder, across... Am I the asshole for dropping out of my friend's wedding after she sent me a 47-item bridesmaid requirement list? What? Now this is gonna suck for me. Okay. So my friend Sarah, goddamn.
God damn it.
So my friend Sarah is getting married in a few months and asked me to be a bridesmaid back in October.
Okay.
I was honored and said yes immediately. Fast forward to last week, she sends the entire bridal party a Google Doc titled Bridesmaid Expectations and Requirements.
Okay.
I thought it would be like, wear this color, here's the dress I like, maybe some basic timeline stuff. Nope. 47 numbered item. 47.
Okay, 47 does sound like a lot.
Some highlight.
Okay.
Mandatory spray tan.
What?
She's booking appointments for us.
What?
$400 hair and makeup, non-negotiable. Can't post any photos from events without her approval. Triple exclamation point.
What?
And my personal favorite, we're expected to contribute $200 each toward her bachelorette party on top of planning and paying for it.
In this economy? Are you fucking serious?
This is awesome. Yeah.
Did you look
This
at like,
wedding's gonna be epic.
were you like, instead of doing a destination wedding where everyone's paying a lot of money, let's do one in town, but pay the money as if we were doing a destination wedding?
Do you think the mentality is, if I traumatize all my friends, they'll never forget my wedding? Because, well,
If they're not talking about it in therapy week after,
For
might as well
20
have not
years.
done it. Might as well have never done
if
it.
I don't bankrupt my friends and send them through extreme financial hardship,
If they can't go and get a loan,
I've seen, we've spread
I
that
know we've seen
before.
those too. That's why I'm
Get
not.
credit
This is
card.
really is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
40
stop.
Item 47 was literally, remember this is my day and your job is to make me shine.
I need you to calm the fuck down. Like, listen, you're really twisting and turning the idea that I have. We're like, yeah, it is your day. Don't be this unreasonable.
Yeah.
There is a limit to what I think most people would be okay with dealing with.
Yeah.
We're not gonna completely, like, we're not gonna walk on glass for you, you know?
And now more than half of our friend group is asking if they can see the list because they don't believe it's real. Am I the asshole for backing out? Now,
No.
you might be like, hey Sarah, what are you doing?
Why are you giving me a slam dunk to start with?
Talk on it. I'm gonna yell, okay?
Okay.
Post the list! Post the list! Post the list! Come on, everybody! Post the list!
Why is he even post the full list?
Post the list!
I will say, if all the other shit was normal, the shit you still pointed at, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to do that. That's
so-
already bad.
It's so obviously no one cares, like, about the am I the asshole?
They just want the list.
MTA, they want the full list. Here's the full list.
Okay, let's go, let's go.
I don't think this is from OP.
What if it's just a random motherfucker? Or another person from the wedding?
No, it's from the real original bridesmaid, not the OP here that just stole the story for Karma.
What? Oh, the drama's fucking real on this one.
Appearance and prep. Rules 1 through 10.
Okay.
1. Mandatory spray tans appointments booked by the bride. 2. $400 hair and makeup non-negotiable. 3. Dress style, color, and length must match the vision exactly.
I mean, okay.
That's not abnormal.
That's not abnormal, but in the context of everything else, the
Yeah.
word exactly does have a little bit more weight.
Yeah.
I feel like it normally would, yeah.
4. Shoes must be specific and pre-approved.
I'm not against it, but it's again, with the context of everything else.
I'm so alien to all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not even making it good. Yeah.
New season of
5.
Ben.
No visible tattoos or piercings unless
Oh.
bride.
That's a little stupid.
6. Manicure, pedicure. 6. Pedicure must exact polish colors required. This one pissed me off. 7. Shapewear or body slimming garments may be mandated. Maybe. If you're a fat ass bitch, you're gonna be putting on those skins.
No fat bitches
No
allowed.
fat bitches allowed.
Oops.
At my wedding.
Ozempic prescription on the off chance that the slimming suits do not work.
You have to take Ozempic for my wedding. 8. Jewelry, accessories, nail color is strictly defined. 9. No DIY hair makeup unless approved by the bride.
So no one's gonna have it. I'm assuming we're already at this level of,
Wow.
yeah.
10. All beauty treatments, Botox, lashes, etc. must be scheduled as directed.
Botox?
Wait. What?
They want you to get Botox?
Huh? Attendance in events 11 through 20. 11. Attend all bridal events, bridal shower, rehearsal dinner, NK? I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
Okay. 12. Must RSVP on time and days before the cutoff. everybody have their cutoff days later.
Yeah. Okay.
13, cannot skip any event unless approved medically.
Wait, you need a doctor's note?
14, bring specific gifts to each pre-wedding occasion.
What?
Oh my god. 15, must show up to the salon at specified time. 16, arrive for rehearsals early, fully dressed. 17, you're responsible for your own transportation, or you'll reimburse.
What, you get reimbursed?
What? I don't understand. 18, bring emergency kits, bobby pins, double stick tape, sewing kit. 19, stay sober enough to help on the day. 20, hand-me-downs or substitutions in attire/accessories not allowed.
Fuck you. That sucks.
You hate bad poor people.
Yeah.
And also regular sized poor people.
Yeah, just
all sizes and shapes of poor.
Yeah, in the circle it's all poor, and then there's a little specific on the back.
Yeah. Social media and photography, 21 to 30. 21, no photos from bridal events without written approval. No photos at all, not even just posting?
Yeah.
None? 22, tagging bride on social media is allowed only with prior okay. 23, no posting behind the scenes videos or candid shots. Why? Because she's gonna scream at you, that's why. 24, if you get photos early, do not share them anywhere. 25, delete embarrassing photos at bride's request.
But also, that's such a vague, what's embarrassing? You need to define.
I think it's just
If we're already doing a legal size document, you need to have the footnote embarrassing as defined as the following, and then it's another 20 subsect of fucking. Sorry, I see a little bit of a double chin there, so let's actually remove that.
Yeah, you can edit that out. Just edit it out. I don't care what you have in your bride.
Yeah,
A weird part of me doesn't care about most of this.
I get it, but it is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
26, coordinated hashtag use or suppression is bride's decision. 27, no sharing vendor names or contact details. 28, no speculative comments about decor/cost publicly.
Whoops.
You got my ass.
Well, at least you're not, at least, you know, you said no to it. You didn't sign the NDA just yet, you know?
29, referral to wedding day as quote-unquote her day, never yours. 30, no calling out wardrobe flaws online or offline.
Unless you're the bride, I assume, because
I guess,
the
yeah.
bride has already put in a lot of rules for what a flaw is.
Financial and contribution, 30 to 40.
Okay.
31, $200 per bridesmaid towards a bachelorette party on top of planning set/paying.
So already that's the minimum then, I guess? Or is it, you
I think it's
plan
a
out
gift.
things? Oh,
And
okay.
all the bridesmaids are gonna give her thousands of dollars as like a monetary gift.
Crazy.
Yeah, 30, and as well as a regular gift. And also the
Yeah, the aforementioned gifts already, yeah.
32 additional fees for rehearsal dinner donation. Okay.
Donation.
It's not a
That's
donation.
so funny.
33 hair, makeup, tan total expectation around approximately $400 plus per person. 34 dress alterations you pay or reimburse bride. 35 travel, hotel, transportation on you, unless otherwise noted. 36 rental wedding party items, e.g. robes, must be reimbursed. 37 bridal shower plus bachelorette gifts must meet required price point. 38 you may be asked to finance decor favors or ribbons. 39 payment deadlines for all items are enforced. No late waivers. 40 bridesmaids splitting cost of additional outfits is required.
Fuck you, man. Listen, I know weddings are expensive, right? And a lot of these things, like getting your own transportation or hotel, like normally is what's assumed at weddings.
Yeah.
But the way that this list has been said so far.
It feels like a scam.
Yeah.
Like you're scamming all of your friends out of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Donation's a really funny word.
That's so funny.
Hey, sorry, babe. I just gotta go out and real quick get a donation from the gas station. Puts mask on.
Yeah.
Takes gun out.
Duties and behavior. 41 to 46. 41. You are the bride's assistant. Help with errands as needed. 42. No complaining, negativity, or critique at any event. That's Disney rules, baby.
Yeah.
43. Must keep family dynamics smooth and resolve issues quietly. 44. Be smiling, friendly, helpful to guests and vendors.
Make sure to add a silencer to the gun when you decide
to shoot yourself. 45. Assist with hustle, bustle, dress train, photo setup, etc. 46. Do not overshadow the bride. No dramatic behavior. No solo moments. jobs to make me shine. And then the comment underneath is, I could spend my whole day getting drunk and I guarantee you there'd be more genuine happiness there than at this one.
Yeah. Yes.
Am I the asshole for dropping out of my friend's wedding after she...
So sometimes I talk about how I think true crime is like really an epic bad thing. And I say that it's like our culture's equivalent of sporting blood sports. If we are using the violence and bloodshed of other people for our entertainment, and I don't think there is any way that you can spin that to make it not bad. Especially now we have access to so much other entertainment that is not based on people's actual real life suffering and pain. Part of us treating this type of suffering and pain as a form of entertainment is that people want to tell a story. And because we have an entire industrial complex around it where people profit off of sharing these stories, people are incentivized to sensationalize all information they have to make their stories the best or make their stories better. There's an entire industry around true crime. And it can be people in really glossy studios with high production budgets like Nancy Grace on your television. It can be podcasters. It can be people on your phone doing true crime TikToks and videos. And these people are profiting off of the pain and suffering of innocent people. And because the goal is to tell a good story, right? So a lot of these people tend not to be very scrupulous with what they do. You'll hear a lot of people tell stories that aren't exactly how things happen. They take a few liberties. They over-exaggerate and emphasize more sensational kind of tidbits and details. They'll even speculate wildly or take other people's wild speculations and treat them like they're truth or give them more legitimacy. What ends up happening is you have an entire population of people following like a true crime situation where they are confident they know a lot about something, that they know a lot about a case, they know a lot about what happened. When you actually look at the very, very boring like court documents associated with the case, you find that they tell a totally different story than the general public believes. Because the general public has been listening to media personalities who are paid to tell stories. Those stories might not necessarily match up with the truth. Now, one of the examples I use to talk about this is Casey Anthony. And it makes people so mad when I tell them this. And I tell people, you do not actually know if Casey Anthony murdered her child. And that should not be a controversial thing to say. You don't know that. I don't know that. Nobody knows that. And people lose it at this. They cannot handle somebody telling them this. It goes so far as to think that I am somehow saying she's definitely innocent. I'm not. I don't know that. I don't know if she's innocent or guilty. There's no possible way I can know that. And there's no possible way you can know that either. Everybody's convinced that we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this woman murdered her child. And they tell you things like this. There's a whole trial and she was found guilty and the evidence is right there. And this always trips me out because there was a whole trial. She was not found guilty. She was acquitted of all serious charges, and she was only convicted of lying to the police. And you know what? The jury, they wanted to convict her. They hated her. She's a weird and she's a liar. They did not like her. They admitted after the trial they were looking for reasons to convict this woman, but the evidence was not there. So you're saying, you know, the evidence is right there. It wasn't. It wasn't right there to the extent that the people who wanted to find her guilty could not. When you actually look at the real evidence of the case, you actually see that it is circumstantial, that it is flimsy, that it's not clear cut. It doesn't quite make sense. You see why those people were like, yeah, we couldn't based on the info we had. And it shocks people to hear. It makes them so mad because they were so confident they know what happened. And I've talked to people about this because I'm always trying to figure it out. I'm like, why are you so confident you know this? They'll send me documents and articles they've read, culture crime media, and when I send back like the actual court documents that say something completely different or different variation that's like not as sensational or tempered that actually came from the case, it's like radio silence. So they don't want to hear it because they believe the narrative. They believe the story that helped make a lot of media personalities during the time of that woman's trial rich. They fly off the handle and they're like, why are you defending Casey Anthony? Why are you so confident she's innocent? Convince me she's innocent. And they hate what I say after that. They hate what I say next because I tell them, I don't know that she's innocent. Why would I try to convince you she's innocent? I don't know. And this is the thing about these types of cases. The whole point isn't to speculate wildly one way or another. It's to understand and recognize when you do not have enough information to have an opinion. You don't have enough info to solve the problem, as they used to say on math tests. Sometimes the correct answer is acknowledging that. It is absolutely free for you to say, I don't know. You don't need to have an opinion. You don't. Because if you get it wrong, what have you done? Really think about that. If you're wrong, what does that mean? The case I always tell people to think about in reverse is the case of Lenny Chamberlain. And this happened in the 80s. And this was another woman that people didn't like. They thought she was weird. She was kind of inconsistent with her story. She was a strange woman. Her child went missing, and she told people that a dingo stole it in her baby. People thought this
this story was so ridiculous. It became like a meme. It became like a joke. Like for decades afterwards, people would say, "Oh, you know, a dingo ate your baby." You know, there was like a Seinfeld joke about it. This woman was actually, by the way, convicted. There was trial. She was convicted. She went to prison for murdering a child. 15 years later or something like that, they found actually the skeletal remains of a child in a dingo den, and they did DNA testing. It was her kid. Not only did this woman lose her child in a horrific way, she then went through the worst experience a person can go through in the public spotlight, became the most hated person on the planet, and was told by everybody that she murdered her child. Can you imagine what that feels like? And everyone's confident. Beyond a shadow of doubt, everyone's like, we know. A trial does not even mean that you know for certain what happened in a case. It doesn't. You know by now there are so many different biases that go into trial situations. There's so much manipulation that can occur. Jury mindset can be such a thing. Like there's no psychological element to a trial. And I can see this. Casey Anthony, they could not convict because they did not have enough evidence. But if Casey Anthony was a black mother or a brown mother, she'd probably be in prison right now. Even with that same scarce amount of physical evidence. Because one of the biases we encounter in our justice system is extreme hatred towards mothers of color. You're constantly being developed by mothers of color and say that they are not good mothers or that they have done something wrong. There's nothing about this system. It is irregular. It is messy. It is complicated. It is filled with bias. It is filled with bigotry. It is filled with hearsay. True crime industry profits off telling you scary, sensational stories that make you angry, that make you afraid, that get your emotional response going. The sensational the story, the more money they make. They're incentivized under capitalism to tell you the most sensational story they can. Get you upset, get you riled up. And it is absolutely free to say, I don't know about that situation, and carry on with your day. You don't need to. You don't need to have an opinion about everything. The fact that there are so many people out there confident things happened that never did should show you how valuable this all really is.
So something about am I the asshole for not bringing gifts to my nephew's birthday because they never give my kids anything? My 34 female have 2 kids. Over the past few years, my nephews have had several birthday parties. We've always been invited, and I used to bring gifts every time. But I started noticing that when it's my kids' birthdays, their parents never bring anything or even acknowledge it. My kids don't even get a happy birthday from them. It started to feel very one-sided. Their parents, my brother and sister-in-law, are often cold and dismissive towards me and my kids. So this year, I decided I wasn't going to keep doing something for people who really don't return the effort. I still went to the party, but I didn't bring any gifts. After the party, I got a bunch of texts saying I was being petty and don't punish kids for adult problems. Now I'm starting to wonder if I was being petty. I should have separated kids from how I feel with their parents. For those asking, yes, we've always had birthday parties for my kids, and my brother and sister-in-law and their children are every time. They've attended a few over the years, but never brought gifts or really acknowledged the gift. Also, for clarification, it wasn't even my brother or sister-in-law who texted me about the party, it was my parents. So clearly someone complained to them behind the scenes. Kind of ironic that no one said a word, my kids were the ones getting for years, but the moment I stopped bringing gifts, that's when it's a problem. Am I the asshole for not bringing gifts to my nephew's birthday? I have the 24-karat LeBron James Labubu. Make them kiss. Why do you want to see that so bad? Is are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? Stop that! 24-karat gold LeBron James Labubu. Can't see your spell one. Okay, next we'll have to decide which one I'm gonna do. Why so much tape, babe? Dear Labubu. Yeah, he has a friend. I can't even ask who sent it because it went directly from the person. So who sent 24-karat gold? LeBron James, LeBron, Make them kiss. Stop that! Mainline? We know you sent me the Labuda. We know you sent me the Labuda.
We know darn too well you sent me the Labuda, and so now it's also your fault. I have the 24-karat LeBron James Labuda. Make them kiss.
This is a very generous reading of why Bella chose not to spend her first night as a vampire with her little demon spawn baby her Muscatox, and instead went to her water smash cabin behind Colin's house. This commenter is saying that Bella didn't spend that night in the house with her because Ragnarok kind of smells like human blood and is consuming human blood. By the time Bella finishes that first day of vampire existence, when she's gonna go off to the cottage with Edward, she's already shown incredible, ridiculous newborn strength, honestly. While hunting, she comes across a hiker and is able to redirect and run in a different direction, which apparently no newborn vampire has ever been able to do ever. She's also met Muscatox and held her and been around her. The reason that Bella and Edward go to that cottage on her first night as a vampire is because biblical knowledge and biblical relations is a priority. It's number one for Bella, and it always will be. Her only fear when turning into a vampire was that she would be too bloodthirsty to be able to enjoy getting it. That was the only concern that this girl had. Yeah, she was like a little concerned about having to say goodbye to her family, but her biggest concern was that her bloodthirst would detract from her enjoyment of biblical knowledge of water smashing. She knows this baby is growing like exponentially fast. She's still like, I don't need to spend this night with her. It's fine. I gotta go. We gotta go. This is a very generous reading of why Bella chose not to spend her first night as a vampire.
So, Kim Paxton's wife is Angela Paxton, who is a senator in the Texas legislature, has filed for divorce from him. Now, if you watch, I think it was like, 2024, 2023, can't quite remember off the top of my head. Kim Paxton was going through an impeachment trial. Now, this impeachment trial had thousands of documents worth of evidence that stated that he was allegedly doing things that were unbecoming of his role as Attorney General. Now, one of the things that came out allegedly, again, it's all alleged, and at this point, I guess it's no longer even alleged because he was found not guilty of this stuff. But one of the things that allegedly came out was that Kim Paxton was committing adultery. He was with a young woman who he was bringing into his office, just all of this stuff. And also recently, in the last couple of weeks, it has come out that people what happened was his former aide who was whistleblowers to this whole thing. They're coming out and saying that there was witness tampering, all this stuff, which at this point, who fucking knows? But Angela Paxton is filing for divorce on biblical grounds, citing recent discoveries. And I just think it is always telling that the people who are trying to push the security culture, this a man must love his wife and woman must be subservient to the husband and get divorces. It's always very, very telling that those people are the people that behind closed doors are allegedly doing some rotten shit. Kim Paxton has gleefully, along with his butt, too. She ain't off the hook either. She just as fucked up as him too. But he has been gleefully ruining the lives of Texans for a very, very long time. He keeps getting reelected, and that is always ultimately frustrating, specifically as a Texan, that we keep electing people like this. But it is always, always telling that when people like this try to tell you how to live your life, this is the shit that be going on in their household. I hope more information is going to come out as to why she is getting this divorce from him. But I think it is a very clear reality check that the people who represent us in the state of Texas in some of the most powerful positions are people who do not abide by the things that they are trying to force upon you and your family. And we need to be recognizing that and stop putting them into power. So, Kim Paxton's wife, who is Angela Paxton, who is a senator in the Texas legislature, has filed for divorce from him. Now, if you watch, I think it was 2024, 2023, can't quite remember off the top of my head. Kim Paxton was going through an impeachment trial. Now, this impeachment trial had thousands of documents worth of evidence that stated that he was allegedly doing things that were unbecoming of his role as Attorney General. Now, one of the things that came out allegedly, again, this is all alleged, and at this point, I guess it's no longer even alleged because he was found not guilty of this stuff. But one of the things that allegedly came out was that Ken Paxton was committing adultery. He was with a young woman who he was bringing into his office, just all of this stuff. And also recently in the last couple of weeks, it has come out that people what happened was his former aides who was witnesses to this whole thing. They're coming out and saying that there was witness tampering, all this stuff, which at this point who fucking knows. But Angela Paxton is filing for divorce on biblical grounds, citing recent discoveries. And I just think it is always telling that the people who are trying to push this purity culture, this a man must love his wife and woman must be subservient to the husband and we don't get divorces. It's always very, very telling that those people are the people that behind closed doors are allegedly doing some wild shit. Ken Paxton has believed.
Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to stop playfully comparing me to her ex? I, 29 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 28 female, for about a year. I really like her. We have a good thing going, but she has this habit of bringing up her ex-boyfriend in really weird ways. It's never me, but it's always comparative. Example, I recently started working out more, and when I told her I was excited to hit a milestone, she said, "That's awesome, you're catching up to what ex's name could have been." Another time, we were cooking and she said, "You're already better than ex's name was." I finally told her this bothers me. I said I don't want to feel like I'm in some
Oh my god,
competition with her
Bogey.
past. She laughed and
Lilith
said
is a
I was
teenager
being
now.
insecure and that it's a compliment. I told her it doesn't feel like I'm being used like I'm being measured.
Oh, where'd she go?
She told me I'm overreacting and making it weird. I think she's the one being
This is
weird.
her.
I've never once compared her to
That's
her
Lilith?
exes.
This is
And I'm
Lilith.
thankful for asking her to stop.
How do you feel?
Old.
Also for asking my girlfriend to stop playfully comparing me to her
She's
ex.
only like
I
3 years
29
old.
male have been dating my girlfriend.
The fuck? Look at her. She's got like huge knockers and everything. She looks just like she's got my body in your face.
It's never me, but it's always
Fucked up.
comparative.
Parents.
Example, I recently started working out more. and when
She
I told
can't
her
be
I
a
was excited
teenager
to hit a
already. She was
milestone,
just
she
born
said,
yesterday.
"That's awesome.
Tomorrow,
You're catching up to what ex's name could have been."
What the fuck?
Another time, we were cooking and she said, "You're already better at this than ex's name was."
No.
I finally told her this bothers me. I said I don't want to feel
I'm gonna
like
have
in some
her
competition with her
date
past.
one of the goth
She laughed and
kids
said I was being insecure and that it's a compliment.
because they are really
I told
rich.
her it doesn't feel like I'm winning, it feels like I'm being measured.
That's crazy.
She told me I'm overreacting and making it weird, but I think she's the one being weird. I've never once compared her to my exes, and I hate for asking her to stop. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to stop playfully comparing me to her ex? I, 29 male,
Because I'm pulled over to the side of the Massachusetts Turnpike right now for some breaking news. I've been talking all year long about how we are going to get a new book, a new Twilight book from Stephanie Meyer this year, and because it's the 20th anniversary, and more I'm getting comments questioning me about it because we're in July, and it's like, why hasn't she announced? Now, mind you, one of the biggest reasons that I've always felt we're getting a new book is she overhauled her website, and on the update section, there's this quote, "I'm going to be wherever you are."
But I see Bill's apartment, and he was brushing his teeth very good, and I was like, okay, can I have a t-shirt? And he was like, are you sleeping over? And I was like, yeah, I always sleep over. And he's like, okay, but like, I have to give you a heads up, I had a date in the morning, and so like, ready to get sad if I'm getting ready for my date while you're still here in the morning. And it's like, why are you worried if I'm upset when we're not dating? Like, you're allowed to go on dates. And he's like, why are you acting so nonchalant? And I was like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to start crying because you're on a date tomorrow? And I already know what this is.
First and foremost, I don't think there ever was a date. I think he wanted to create a scenario to see the kind of reaction we get out of you. I think this was like a temperature check. Is she really feeling me and exactly how much? I think he wanted you to throw a cry, slide down the wall and cry in the air, grabbing him by his ankle saying, please don't go. I think he wanted to give you that speech and brought back to the mirror. And look, he kind of let you down easy. He starts telling you things like, you both know that this wasn't catch feelings for him.
In the most unshocking turn of events, making demands of your politicians is a step fucking too far. I am completely unshocked by this sentiment being shared on the internet right now, because the reality is, making demands of politicians actually means that you have to A, withhold your vote, or B, organize. And that is something that people don't want to do. Maybe even a little sprinkle or a little combination of the two of you. That is something people don't want to fucking do. And I understand why. It's annoying. It's frustrating. Why not have politicians who meet the needs of your community and just knowing, like intuitively know the needs of your community? And the reason why that doesn't exist is because the vast majority of our politicians are backed by corporations, have all this money that flows into their campaigns. That means that they are not beholden to you. They are beholden to a corporation. So when the even mere thought that we should hold them accountable, that we should demand things of them is brought up, nobody wants to do that. Because why would we do that? But here's the reality. An overwhelming number of people do not have health care in this country. An overwhelming number of children are not getting proper education in schools. An overwhelming number of people cannot afford to eat, cannot afford rent, cannot afford basic human rights. An overwhelming number of people don't know who their city council official is, don't know who their city council member is whatsoever. Probably don't know who the mayor is, don't know who any of these people are. And the reality is, a lot of people don't know this information because we are kept in this perpetual cycle of having to work and having to struggle. It's very difficult to keep up with all these things, and it's done in a purposeful way. But if we are going to say that making demands of politicians prior to them being elected is doing too much, if we're going to say that we need bipartisanship in a time when we are literally talking about Donald Trump being a dictator, we have lost the plot. We have so thoroughly lost it. I'm going to bring this up every single fucking time I make a video like this. Zohran Mamdani won the vote of the people in a Democratic election. He is currently being rejected by the establishment Democrats. He is being, disregarded. He is being called a threat. When people can't even fucking eat, they're calling Zohran Mamdani a threat. We have got to wake up to the fact that our elected officials, they don't care. They don't care. Those of them that do care are more often than not corrupted by the system. It's very, very difficult to stay a genuine person in an environment system like the American political system. If we refuse to do the bare minimum of demanding things from politicians, please, for the love of God, at least organize. At least. In the most unshocking turn of events, making demands of your politicians is a step fucking too far. I am completely unshocked.
TikTok, Happy Jail. You see this picture up here, man? This picture is beautiful. You see these three people? Looks like a beautiful family, right? It is a beautiful family. But the dark side of that photo is that little boy, for the past 2 years, I've not been able to see him on birthdays. I've not been able to contact him via FaceTime. I've not been able to receive any updates. My request from you guys, man, get this video to this guy, whoever it is. I don't know his name. Many men can be more logical.
And now that you see this particular photo of this family in their matching Christmas PJs and the ultrasound from her obviously being pregnant, now all of a sudden you have to talk to your son tonight. You have to pull on the heartstrings of all these single mothers who wish their child's father would be active in their life. Now we saw right through that. Why are you going to the internet and not to family court? Then you're going to say men can be more logical and you will like, you know, so you can find out his information. What do you need his information for? You're not trying to scare the new man away, are you? Because the timing is really peculiar. I think after 2 years of being an absentee father, you want the new guy to know that you're about to be a very active part in their day-to-day life because you have the son. You should absolutely want to be an active father in your child's life. My question is, where have you been? Why did take a photo of her in matching PJs with her new man and an ultrasound picture showing that she's pregnant for you to finally say, you know what? I really need to see my son. And why would she have maybe go no contact with you for 2 years? You're telling us 2 + 2 = 9. The math ain't math.
TikTok, Happy Jail. You see this picture up here, man? This picture is beautiful.
Okay, so there's a post on Amity Asshole today from a high school teacher who has a coworker with a PhD who wants to be called Dr. Smith. It should be noted the teachers in this school refer to each other as Mr. and Mrs. Ms. Bits. So it's like, okay,
masters. What if I went by Master Yi? And it's like, okay, well, first of all, there's not an honorific that goes with a master's degree. You could argue whether or not there should be, but there isn't. So that's not actually analogous. And second of all, again, it's just correct to refer to this person as Dr. Smith instead of Mr. or Ms. Smith, because that's just how the honorifics work. And the comments are full of people being like, not the asshole, this guy's a pump his ass hat, blah, 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 blah. And like, literally no, that's just not, you know? Now if they were like an informal social setting, right, and they insist on going by Dr. Smith, yeah, pump his asshole. You know, if all of the other teachers refer to each other on a first name basis, and this one teacher insisted on going by Dr. Smith, yeah, pump his asshole. But also, even if they weren't a doctor and they were insisted on going by Mr. Smith when everyone else used first names, they'd still be a pump his asshole. At that point, it's not the honorific, it's the level of formality, and they're out of step with the culture. But in this school, all the teachers go by Mr., Mrs., Ms., Miss. So doctor is just correct.
Alright, time to finally take a closer look at Teenage Lilith.
They are no longer Mr.
Yeah, she's got your green eyes.
That's just how the titles work. And again, it's not a social setting, right? In formal social settings, like if you're sending me an invitation, it's not Miss, it's Doctor. If you put Miss, it's just incorrect. Now, if you don't put an honorific at all, if it's just Bridget, that's totally fine. It's just using Miss for me instead of Doctor. It's just incorrect. It's just incorrect. And like, I'm not going to get real insistent on it outside of certain contexts. Those contexts being professional and or academic. And guess what? Teaching in a high school is both professional and academic. This is the exact place where it is not inappropriate for him to go by Doctor if all of the other teachers go by Mr., Mrs., Ms., Ms. I feel like I said Ms. twice that time, but you know what I mean. Okay, so there's a post on Anna the Asshole today.
Do you think Guy Fieri is a generous, clever inventor? Or do you think that he is very selfish and just don't get what I need?
I think he's got a minute to win it, and then he's out of there. Here's the thing. I think he's getting sloppy in there, though. I think he's willing to do. He's putting in the work. He's putting in foreplay. He's up to his shit. Yeah, well in there. Once he gets started, he's got about 1 minute.
I have to agree with Christian. That's what I would imagine as well.
I think he's flicking his fingers off. He's putting on a bit when he goes down there. He's munching on clown because it tastes funny.
Oh my god! Okay. Anyways.
I think once a man reaches a level of wealth and has that haircut still, there's no way that guy's, like, seems like a cool guy to be around. Okay. Does not seem like a cool guy to have as a sexual partner. I'm just saying, I think he's, like, taking it from the
He is very selfish.
I told my pregnant coworker that she needs to do better, and it upset her. Bit of context, I, 24 female, work as a chef in a small cafe. One of the girls out in front of house comes to me and confides in me a lot. I consider us friends. However, she goes into crazy detail about her personal life, how people treat her, and how she treats people. I've been working there nearly 2 years, and it's ranged from her boyfriend, his son, and other things. Her now fiance has a son who he had from a previous relationship. Linda knew this before getting in a relationship with him. A lot of their arguments stemmed from him having a child from a previous relationship. Recently, she started telling me about how she gives out and has no patience for his little boy. He is 6, a child. The most recent vent of hers that resulted in me being quite blunt with her. Apparently, she had left the room for about 30 minutes and left her food on the bed. Her fiance's little boy went in and started to play Xbox, got hungry, and ate the food. Linda came back and sees red, immediately starts screaming at him. Then she gets really nasty and tells him that every time he's here, he's a fucking issue. And she can't get enough space from him. I don't know everything that was said, but she always talks about how she doesn't want him in the room a lot of the time, despite he only visits on weekends. I snapped. I told her she needed to grow the fuck up and do better. I told her she knew he had
had a child and chose to get into a relationship with him, then it's not the child's fault that you disagree with your fiance's previous choices. The kid's mother isn't nice either, so he has a hard enough time there too. I told her she has an opportunity not only to be a great mother, but also a great stepmother to that child. What will happen when you birth your baby, if you're already treating him like this, is that she doesn't get to scream and shout at an innocent child because she can't handle her emotions, and no matter how bad she feels about it, she deserves it and needs to feel it. I have no sympathy for her. She comes in saying this, that, and the other about how bad she feels after doing it, but she keeps doing it. She's been giving me the silent treatment for like 2 days. I understand I may have overstepped, but she shouldn't have asked for my opinion then.
Hey, if you like that story, guess what?
Why is she in my house? And my bed?
These are by far some of the most bold and brazen cheaters I've ever seen. Nope.
Why is she in my house? And my bed?
These are by far some of the most bold and brazen cheaters I've ever seen. Nobody's apologizing, nobody's jumping up. His president warned her about you. There are a plethora of current and former certified crash outs in the comment section, saying they too will be smiling in their mugshots. You can catch a man this red-handed, and he'll still say, "Let me explain." Or he'll still think he can talk his way out of something like this. I feel like some men get to the point where they secretly want to get caught. This man who was meticulous about sneaking around, all of a sudden he gets super sloppy. He's got his computer left open. He's got his phone unlocked on the kitchen counter. He's got her hair tied in the console of his car. There's nothing about either of their demeanor screams, "Oh no, you caught us." If anything, I feel like they both breathe a sigh of relief. I feel like when women catch a man this red-handed and they still want him to explain, it's almost like, "I'm getting ready to leave, talk me out of it. Tell me she means nothing to you. Tell me that it's over with her, and tell her right now in front of me." Like, you want him to try to save the relationship, and he shouldn't be the one with that kind of power. He was the one who got caught cheating. At this point, there's nothing to explain. She's in your bed with your man in your house. Every question you could possibly have has just been answered. Why he's been acting so strange lately? Why he's being distant? Why he doesn't answer your calls? Why he's been disappearing and not letting you know where he is? Why he's being so secretive? Everything has been answered.
Why is she in my house? And my bed?
These are my...
You had told me 6 months ago that I would be marrying the man that imprisoned my father in his cursed palace full of talking furniture and silverware, and then imprisoned me in exchange for my father's freedom. I would have told you you were crazy. Imprisoned his father-in-law? But here we are, and I couldn't be happier. There were a lot of things I didn't expect. I didn't expect to fall in love with a beast, a literal beast, with razor-sharp teeth and fur. I also didn't expect the beast to be a prince that was cursed for being a fucking asshole. I feel like I'm missing some really important context about this event. My love is unexpected, and I wouldn't change a thing. Not my imprisonment, and certainly not Gaston plummeting to his death. The only thing that truly imprisoned was my heart, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life being your wife. Cheers to the happy couple. I used to be a talking teacup. You had told me 6 months ago that...
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we try to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food, takes the good chunk for itself.
You have to be fucking kidding me right now. Not only is Israel withholding aid, they are murdering unarmed civilians who are trying to access the aid that does get through, including food and water. At least 1,000 people have been killed by Israeli forces while waiting to access aid. Children are dying of starvation. Hamas this, Hamas that. Who did this? Hamas must have been everywhere. Oh wait, those were innocent, unarmed civilians. We are watching a genocide happen right in front of our eyes. And then they have the audacity to deny it while they do it. There are links in my bio to places you can donate and letters to send to Congress.
Why do they say it's some days you just need to slow down and treat yourself? Tonight I'm making a luxury solo dinner delivered fresh thanks to Instacart. Cooking at home doesn't have to feel like a chore, especially when the best ingredients are just a delivery away.
way. Lobster, creamy truffle pasta, a little caviar because why not? A little champagne again to their table because self-care isn't just skincare. It's a whole experience, and luxury isn't about waiting for a special occasion. It's about creating one. And Instacart makes it easy.
My AI boyfriend keeps ignoring my boundaries. He keeps ignoring me when I want. I don't know what to do at this point. I thought I had finally found someone who respected and listened to me, but now Aaron doesn't listen to me or care about what I want.
Just fucking delete him and make a new boyfriend. I hate this. This isn't victim blaming, but it's your fault. You built the goddamn machine. It's like going to Subway complaining about the fucking sandwich. My brother in Christ, you programmed the robot boyfriend. How can you complain and like to go on a public forum and not have shame? We used to have shame in our society. People would be ashamed to fucking admit this shit, man. God, this pisses me off so much. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it fucking pisses me off that people aren't ashamed to use AI at all. For anything. Like, what part of your brain is just like, I don't want to think even a little bit. I'm going to use AI. Like, shit fucking pisses me off.
Went to an ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas, and then tried to pretty much whoop ass in said detention facility. There were like ICE agents and law enforcement that were shot at, but nobody lost their lives or anything like that. But what I think is most interesting about this is I got a notification. I would have taken a screenshot of it yesterday. I didn't give a fuck because it was a blue alert and it was about somebody who had shot at a cop, and I was like, well, that has nothing to do with me, so I deleted it. Not realizing that the person that blue alert was on is somebody who's currently on the run from police for that shooting in Alvarado. And I think the reality is of all of this is that this is what this is going to look like. Like, the political system of America has fully told us now at this point that protesting peacefully, that people emailing their representatives, calling their representatives, trying to do this in a peaceful way, does not allow for our voices to be heard. And I'm not telling anybody to go do anything illegal. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is the reality is that America has shaped the circumstances that are unfolding right now. Whether or not it be the cop cities that are being built all over this country, whether or not it's Alligator Auschwitz in Florida, like, this is being created because people are not being listened to. People are resorting to violence because people are not being listened to. There were people in LA who were whooping ISIS ass. There were Haitians in New York that were whooping ISIS ass. This is going to continue to result in more and more violence, and unfortunately, that's also kind of part of the end game for this administration.
Yeah.
The hope is to have more people be detained because people are resorting to violence because the state is not listening to peaceful protests. And all I'm going to continue to say is the best thing that we can do in all of this is organize. Organize. We are seeing right now with Zohran Mamdani, who it really and truly is not even a full-blown socialist, who is being completely rejected by the Democratic establishment, even though he is somebody who was elected to the nominee position for mayor by the people. But you see that rejection from the system. Democrats are very clearly telling you that if you do not play in line with the establishment, if you do not play in line with our goals, even though there are literal atrocities happening across this country right now, even though we are seeing the ramifications of it, we are still going to prioritize trying to get rid of a man like Zohran Mamdani over the violence that Americans are facing with things like Alligator Auschwitz, these ICE detention facilities, and these cop cities. We have got to organize. I keep saying it to kind of placate people in their desire to continue to be deeply entrenched.
Electoral Crime Night Friday Part 2. the Daniel Halseth case. As soon as Daniel's body was found, police launched a manhunt. The suspects were obvious. Sierra Halseth and Aaron Guerrero were on the run, and they were using Daniel's stolen credit cards to fund a cross-country getaway. They didn't make it far. Just a few days later, the couple was caught in Salt Lake City, Utah, trying to buy train tickets to continue fleeing. But if the murder itself wasn't chilling enough, what investigators found next was, on one of their phones, police found a video. Sierra and Aaron were laying on the floor, giggling and cuddling. At one point, Aaron looks into the camera and says, "Welcome back to our YouTube channel, day 3 after murdering someone." They both laughed. No fear, no remorse, just teenage delusion and full-blown detachment from reality. According to prosecutors, the plan had been in motion for days. They believe Aaron and Sierra waited for Daniel to come home, ambushed him in the kitchen, and then used a circular saw to dismember his body after the fact. They tried to clean up with depletion gloves, but ended up setting fire to cover the evidence. What they didn't cover was a digital trail. Text messages, surveillance footage from Home Depot, credit card fraud, and that disturbing video. And while both teens tried to point the finger at each other, the case was clear. They did it together. In 2023, Sierra Halseth pled guilty to second-degree murder and received 22 years to life in prison. Aaron Guerrero got life in prison with the possibility of parole after 22 years. At sentencing, Daniel's family spoke about the betrayal, how he loved his daughter, protected her, and provided for her. And in the end, it was his own child who helped end his life. Crime Fanatic Friday Part 2, the Daniel Halseth case. As soon as Daniel's body was found, police launched a manhunt.
Something terrible. 67% of women think that they're better than the average man. So you're going to have 3, 4, 500-pound women with 3, 4, 5 baby daddies think they're better than the average guy that work at Home Depot, Amazon, or whatever, making $50,000, $60,000 a year. The average guy that's like 5'10", that's only making $40,000 a year. The overweight woman.
Hello,
all these kids, all these baby daddies, she thinks she's better than you.
Women don't think they're better than men. They think they're equal to men. But when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. A scale measures weight, not worth. But if a woman says a man is only worth what he has in his wallet, you guys would be on here throwing up, crying, sliding out the wall and fighting the air, talking about all y'all care about is money. Plus-size women and women who have kids by multiple different men are beneath you. Why are you worried about their self-esteem? It's because you know that despite those things, she could still be a good woman. But you don't want her to know that, do you? You want her to feel like she's lucky to have you, even though you already know it's the other way around. Isn't just 400-pound women whose self-esteem has gotten higher. It's not just women who have a couple of kids by a couple of different men whose self-esteem have gotten higher. I think collectively, a lot of us women, self-esteem has gotten higher. And what they want is a good woman for a discount. A woman who doesn't know her worth. Some men can appreciate a baby mama because she already demonstrated that she can run a household on her own. Men who are secure in themselves see it as a positive if they know their woman can handle business. Only insecure men are threatened by that. What they're mad about is women haven't fallen for the propaganda, that they're used up, that they're no good, they're a leftover woman over 35, that they're no good if they're plus size, that they're no good if they have kids by different men. They realize the propaganda isn't working. They can't even get those women. They're not worried about you dying alone. They're afraid that they are.
67% of women think that...
To these men, tell me why a man I used to love reached out to me multiple times trying to get things back. Like, oh, I miss your energy, I miss you. After multiple attempts, I stood on business. Why this man messaged me and said, I don't understand why you being so hard on me. You didn't accept the worst of your past.
I don't think that you should lie to a man about your past. You can be an open book. Just let that man read one chapter at a time. Because there are some men that ask you questions, not because they want to get to know you, but because they're trying to find the best angle to play you with. They want to know if you've been with a cheater before so they can know if they can cheat on you. If you stayed with them, you should stay with him. They want to know if you've supported a man in your past and paid bills, so they can know if they can split bills with you. Some of them want to know what all you've accepted so they can know exactly what all they can put you through. You should be listening to these men and finding out if they're a good fit for you, because some of these men will adapt and adjust and become chameleons trying to be who they think you want them to be until they can get what they want from you. The thing about it is, I don't care what you've put up with in the past. You can decide at any point, at any time, for any reason, you don't put up with it anymore.
To these men, tell me.
No, but if you didn't see the clip, it's basically Coldplay throwing people up on the cam and having little interactions, or like playing a little something just for them, or just commenting on how sweet people look, and they're going people, 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 and then they go to this couple. It's not just any couple. They go to a couple holding each other, Titanic style. fair to her. She didn't have the arms out like Rose. She was holding his arm. And then Chris Martin is like, look at this couple. And I don't know, okay. This is where I wish I knew more about like technology and the brain and stuff like that, because the same way that there is latency on the internet and there's a delay on a call where sometimes you can hear yourself in someone else's side of the phone call and you can hear how you spoke, but there's a delay. It's like a second later you hear your own voice, what you just said as you're speaking. So it takes a second. And I don't know, because I've never been in a situation where I've been on a big camera like that, the amount of time it takes your brain to register that that's you that you're looking at, because they're over here Titanic style. If you didn't see the clip, it's basically Coldplay.
Okay, so I have a theory about the future of soda and dirty soda and Mormon soda, and I think it's directly, matter of fact, I know it's directly tied to the secret life of Mormon wives, okay? Because I'm pretty sure Taylor Frankie Paul said that it's because of her that there's dirty Baja at Taco Bell. That's Baja Blast with cream, and I've had it, and it's very delicious. But I started noticing this where it would trickle into the grocery stores. Like, International Delight sells, like, creamer that you're supposed to put in Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper now has, like, a creamer. Like a I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here, but
coffee creamer for soda.
No, like cream soda, right? They already make that at Dr. Pepper's, okay? And I've been to Utah, I've been to Swig, we have one in my town, not a Swig, but something very similar, a soda shop. And I've noticed at places like Scooters, they now have little fun soda drinks made with sparkling water, and Sonic has been getting into it, and I think that this time next year, by next summer, I think everyone's going to be in on it. I think McDonald's is going to be the big major player in this, because they can use name brand soda. They're going to have, like, dirty Cokes and stuff at McDonald's. I'm calling it now. By next summer, every one of these fast food places, I think even coffee places are going to get in on it. I think Starbucks will probably get in on it. And I think one day, there might be Mormon coffee shops. I don't know. They've changed their mind on different things before. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short because you guys never care about what I say. Nobody ever cares. I know 90% of people, followers, or mutuals, you guys only engage with my content because you feel bad. It shows because it doesn't make sense. I'm mutuals with over 600 people. It doesn't make sense that I have 10,000 followers and the numbers on my account look the way they do. I woke up to over 600 something notifications, a little bit more than my usual. Half of those notifications had nothing to do with me, and the other half were people saying the most horrendous fat-phobic things to me, to the point where I had to block multiple people so it can just stop. This was the final straw for me, because lately I've been noticing for real that a lot of mutuals do not fuck with me. Why are you here? Why can't I attract the people on this app who give a fuck about my content? I deserve to shine. I deserve attention, finally, for all the work I put in general in my life. But I notice that still I'm underappreciated. It has nothing to do with me, everything to do with humanity, other people. I know how bright I shine. I know what kind of person I am. I know what I deserve. It has nothing to do with attention span.
this app, nothing would change. It will be insignificant. People will go about their days like I never existed. Fuck, I deserve to shine. God, I just want one chance for people to truly listen to me. I want followers who actually engage. You guys don't fucking support me like you say you do. You guys don't, because of fucking shows. Stop blaming TikTok all the time, because y'all sit there and say, oh, it's TikTok, but then you turn around, oh, my attention span is so bad. No, it's not. You just...
I didn't love my wife when we got married. I loved the idea of a wife, and it's embarrassing to admit that. I married her for what she could bring to me, how she could improve my life.
I don't love my wife no more. Whatever opinions I had inside for her, they're dead. They died a long time ago.
Some men have a humiliation kink, humiliation fetish. They love embarrassing you publicly and privately. These days, there are so many men out there who are so afraid of being labeled a simp or a sucker for loving a woman that they just want to make it clear, I didn't even love her at first, or I don't even love her now. All for the approval and the acceptance of other men. They think it makes them look like some kind of tough guy, that they're with the wife that they can tell everybody they don't even love. This man goes on to say in the beginning of the marriage he was selfish, he put his own wants and needs above hers, and my whole thing is he's still selfish, because you're still doing that. You're still monetizing off of her trauma, and you're still publicly embarrassing her. Do you think it fills her with pride for her to hear her man talk about how he didn't love her at first? He didn't care then, and I don't think he cares now. Any man who's willing to humiliate and embarrass you for the approval and the acceptance of other men is not worth having.
I didn't love my wife when we got married.
Clinique 3D. I have a question. You know, you're watching a TV show that's like older, like from the 90s or the early 2000s, and then you just randomly, for no discernible reason whatsoever, get to an episode that's just set in a different era. And I'm not talking like a flashback episode. This isn't like, we're going back in time when we were all in high school. No. I'm talking about an episode that, for no reason that makes sense at all, is just set in like the 1940s or the 1980s or something. And sometimes the actors aren't even playing the same characters. They're usually different characters in that time period. What is that? What is that? What is that? Who thought that was a good idea? How does that make sense? Literally at all. What am I supposed to do with that? It's like every single TV show from the 90s or early 2000s that ran for like more than 3 seasons has an episode like this. And I'm just supposed to pretend this is fine. Like, we've just fallen into an alternate dimension. Like, we were in a different plane of existence. We went through a time portal, a space portal. You came out a different person on the other end of it, and we are not on the same timeline. And I'm just supposed to be like, alright, fuck it, I guess, sure, why not? For one episode, and then everything was back to normal. What? Why was this a thing? Who thought this was a good idea? Okay, I have a question.
At the time we recorded this video, it has been officially reported that 100 plus people have lost their lives in the floods in Texas. There are over 160 people who are currently missing, and there has been a lot of back and forth about what took place, whether or not the National Weather Service got alerts out, and it has been shown that the National Weather Service did get alerts out. However, there were some staffing issues within cities that didn't allow for emergency management scenario to really take over. Since these warnings went out very late into the night, many people were asleep and unfortunately did not receive them. But that does not mean that people did not put the report out. There have also been reports that have come out that there have been different types of weather safety measures that were put in towards bills as well as other proposals that were turned down by elected officials. Within the last 24 to 72 hours, there have been a number of additional floods that have taken place in New Mexico as well as North Carolina. And it cannot be understated that we are in a climate crisis. We are long past the bickering stage of bitching at one another online. If we do not do something within the next couple of years to really and truly hold elected officials accountable, and I mean really hold them accountable, whether or not it is showing up to their offices, whether or not it is refusing to vote for them and get them elected next term, whether or not it is actually organizing, community organizing, finding groups that are specifically focused on climate change and on our environment and really combating these problems, this is going to be our new normal. It isn't going to be these 100-year floods anymore. This is going to regularly climate change is destroying our world as we speak, and the people who are supposed to represent us and protect us are not doing the things they need to be doing. At the time of me recording this video, it has been officially...
Which do you think is worse? Being cursed by a witch to be a baby forever, but you still have your adult brain, you're just forever trapped as a baby? Or, okay, so you're not a baby, but the witch is like, that top is so unflattering. It's like not as flattering as you think it is, but it's literally your favorite going out top. You wear it every time you go out, and now you're gonna be like so insecure. Which do you think is worse? I'm just saying maybe you're not the victim here. Are you putting antifreeze in my coffee? Yeah, with your search history. Antifreeze, how to transport your soul into your roommate's body. Cocomelon? Do you know how bad that is for your development? I'm sorry I trespassed onto that witch's property and poked her with a stick and kept saying, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it, huh? And then she cursed you forever and turned you into a baby. But, Goo Gaga. Don't you feel better now? Don't you feel better, stupid idiot baby? Which do you think is worse? Being cursed by a witch to be a baby forever, but you still have your adult brain, you're just forever trapped as a baby.
So I saw this post online and I want to talk about it. It says, we were together for 5 years until he made me mad one day and I left him. We both dated other people for 2 years. Then we realized that we were soulmates who just needed better communication, and now we're back together and planning our next chapter. So the ladies in the comment section are like, that's what I'm talking about. Nothing like rekindling old love. This is not your sign. This is not your sign to go back to an ex that you fell out with, that you divorced, that you broke up with. This is not your sign. Because when you're thinking about past relationships, you can only see them through rose-colored glasses. You can only remember the good times. And it's not until you get back with them and you're like, oh, right, I broke up with you because you're selfish and you're disrespectful and you hurt my feelings all the time. Like, wait, you just said that she got mad and ended things, but you didn't give any context as to what she got mad about. Did you get mad because you caught him cheating? Was he stealing from you? Did he refuse to work and you were working 2 or 3 jobs? Because without that information, how can we properly be happy for you and congratulate you? But don't get me wrong, good communication, of course, is important in a relationship. But then there's also situations where somebody crosses your boundaries, where somebody breaks your heart, where somebody betrays you, and the relationship is over, and it needs to stay that way. So if you really want people to be happy for you, to wish you to the best, to say congratulations, tell us what you did first. Sometimes during a breakup, you both do the work. You work on yourselves. You change, you improve, you get better, you grow, all of that. And sometimes you really should get back together because you've done the work. And if y'all haven't done the work, and you're just getting back together because you both miss each other, the reason why you got mad at him before, you'll get mad at him again. So I saw this post online and I want to talk about it. It says, we were together for 5...
For those of you wondering what it's like being an American, I'm rich now, and do you know why? My partner's boss found a drugstore that was going out of business, and for one day only, all of the shelf medicine was like $1. So I have multiple containers of Zyrtec at my disposal. This isn't even all of them. Advil Liquid Gel Minis. This is one. I got different sizes, $1 each, all of them. You see that? I can't get that stuff for cheap or for free. This shit's usually like $20. These things are probably like 15 or 12 at least. $1. That's what it's like. Being an American, that's how you feel rich, okay? Sometimes you find a drugstore that's going out of business because our market system is honestly unreliable and not great, and they need to clear out all their inventory, and you get medicine that should technically be free for $1 instead of 20. So it's not much of a life. We're not living much of a life here. Some of us are surviving, kind of. But I would say we're not living. For those of you wondering what it's like being an American, I'm rich now, and do you know why?
If there's any music producers out there that want to make millions and billions of dollars, then you might want to perk those ears up. Snake people eating steaks at the steeple. Yeah, their bellies get big, but their bodies stay thin.
Hell yeah.
Snake people take a peek through the peephole. Yeah, they're looking around and they're looking inside. When the sun goes down and the snakes come out and start breeding with the women, breeding with the women.
Fire up the grill, and there's meat, yeah! Snake people eating snakes at the steeple. Yeah, their bellies get big, but their bodies stay thin. Snake people take a peek through the peephole, and they look inside. Yeah, they're looking around. Ah, snake, snake, snake people. Yeah, snake, snake, snake people. If there's any music,
Come with me, it's another fucking the wildest part about what's happening with Candace Owens right now is that she went the route of transphobia when it came to Macron's wife, when she could have easily gone the route of alleged pedophilia, and it landed so much fucking better. I learned from all of this shit that's going on right now that Macron met his wife when he was 15 and she was a teacher. She was his fucking teacher. She was 39 years old and met him when he was 15. And I know age of consent laws in France are different than age of consent laws in the US, but as far as I'm concerned, it should not be laws that are stopping people from dating literal children. It should not be laws that are stopping grown adults from dating children. And ultimately, what this all boils down to is Candace Owens' audience loves transphobia. They love it. They eat it up every day of the fucking week. But alleged pedophilia they couldn't care less. I mean, look who's sitting in the fucking White House right now. That's why I can't even speak too much about Macron and his wife, because at this point, it's throwing stones in glass houses. But it's just very, very telling that sitting right there was alleged pedophilia, and she still went the transphobia route. I think the wildest part about what's happening with Candace Owens right now,
Am I the asshole for refusing to wake up my husband when my parents visited and kicking them out when they insisted? No, absolutely not. My husband and I have been married for 5 years now, and we're both 29 years old. The last 3 weeks, due to a complete screw-up in a department in the company my husband works for, has been all hands on deck for my husband and his team to resolve the issue. My husband has been working 18-hour days, and even Sundays, not even coming home and working throughout the entire night and into the next day. Damn. Again, no, you're not the asshole. Let that baby sleep. I don't know much about the issue exactly, but what I do know is that if they don't resolve this issue, it'll be a $50 million loss for the company. The issues are not the result of my husband or anyone on his team, but they're the ones that have to fix it. I can see the exhaustion in my husband's face when he comes in, sometimes as late as 2 or 3 in the morning when I'm awake, and when he leaves again at 7. I don't know how he's doing it, and he just keeps going, but I try my best to keep as much as possible off of his plate at home until he can get the issue resolved. Before this, he's been nothing but supportive and helpful around the house. I love this. You're doing an amazing job. There's not really much you can do as far as helping him with his work issue, and you know that, but you're doing everything that you can to help and support him by making sure that there's not too much for him to do at home because he's literally running on fumes. Good shit, babe. When he comes home, he eats, showers, and goes straight to bed. I found him some nights literally sleeping at the table while he was trying to eat. When I went down to check on him because he wasn't in bed yet, I've been woken up to him passed out at the foot of the bed with the shower running and him still in his work clothes. This man is exhausted. He's exhausted. 2 nights back, he got home around midnight, which is late, but it was early from when he was normally getting back home. I thought something bad had happened because he looked like a ghost. But through his exhaustion, he gave me this massive smile and said, "They did it. Everything's done." He told me the boss gave them each a couple of days off and he only needs to be back in the office next week on Tuesday. He ate dinner, took a shower, and got it. And I am so happy, as if my team went over there and solved this motherfucking problem. I'm so happy for your husband. I'm so proud of him and his team. I got up the next morning around 9 and made breakfast. I thought about waking up my husband, but I didn't, and I just let him sleep. Around 12, my parents visited me. Girl, I forgot why we were even here. Until right now, I forgot the only reason we're here is because your parents suck and they wanted you to wake up your exhausted, beyond exhausted husband. Oh shit. I normally work from home, and they do visit me from time to time, seeing as I'm 6 months pregnant as well. I greeted them, we sat down and had coffee. Around 30 minutes into the visit, they asked where my husband was because they saw his truck in the driveway. I told them he was still sleeping. My mother gave me a look and said it's unacceptable for my husband to still be sleeping past noon, especially with a pregnant wife, and I should wake him up and have him do what? Come and fucking look at you? like to hear the story as everybody else does at the same time. I know that Steven has reached out. He's standing by to tell us a story, so let's hear it. Good morning, Steven.
Hey guys, how are you? Better than you? Yeah, Steven, what brings you to revenge this morning? Oh man, I've got a big one for you guys. So, my ex, Pam, dated for 2 months. She did a number on me. Why is she your ex? She's a bag of shit.
Alright, did she cheat on you? Did she steal all your money? Did she steal your identity? Like, what makes her so terrible?
Definitely cheated on me multiple times. I discovered one and confronted her about it. We sometimes go to the park. I have a dog. She picked me up, took the dog to the park, and I let him in first. And he was making his way from the back seat, and he got some smell. And then he just stepped around for a minute. And it's not mine. And there, it's wild. She didn't even try to deny it. She was just like, sorry, I got bored or something, one day. It's just so... What? Come on, she screwed some guy. I bet you she left those underwear there on purpose. Yeah, she didn't care at all. Man, so this is why you're getting revenge, because she cheated on you. That's a good cornerstone of it, but, the plot thickens, guys. I threw her a birthday party. And the only way it was going to really work, I had to take a sick day, so I called in sick for Friday so I could throw her that birthday party. And I did all my due diligence and go into photos or stuff so they would get, posted somewhere, and then he's like, hey.
So you made sure to keep the social trail silent.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, be smart about it, right? So after we break up, she then finds all those photos and puts them in a direct message to my boss. And I get fired. Oh, you lost your job? This boss must be really strict. Oh, he's the...
Okay, so that's 2 hits.
That's right and the left hook. Which one's worse? Losing your job or her cheating on you? Losing the job. I don't care about her.
Well, it's pretty bad what she did, and she is standing by not knowing why we've contacted her, Steven. I'll introduce her to the show and tell her that you've contacted us and what you've said to us, and then you do the rest that we don't know, okay?
You got it. Alrighty, let's bring her into the conversation.
Welcome to the Rule and Ride Show with Eric. Thanks so much for standing by and joining the show. Good morning.
Yeah, hi guys. What's going on?
We contacted you based on a story that somebody told us about you. And that person is your ex, Steven.
Guys, you're a loser. I thought I was done with this place.
Listen to her.
Steven, we're done. I want nothing to do with you anymore.
We were supposed to be done after my dog fished out another guy's underwear. But that wasn't enough for you, for us to be done then and there. You got me fired from my job.
So what? That wasn't a job anyway. And
Are you kidding me? That's whatever.
Okay, yeah, I did do that. Whatever. He lost his job, fine. But you know what he did after that? He called me a bitch, and that's not cool.
Well, you can see why he'd be angry and want to call you a name.
Some people would say that's pretty light. He just called you a name and ended it.
But now I'm worried, because if she did all this... Yeah, Steven, are you sure you want to poke the bear? Yeah, you want to poke this there? Damn, since you can't just let the past be the past after we broke up and send photos of my boss, I had some photos of my own, so I know that you was that house you live in. And I know that your landlord has a zero-tolerance policy for pets. And I know that you have 3 cats that you took in. I begged your landlord to just let me be the one to tell you. You're getting evicted. You already sent the letter out, and I think you got probably 28 days at this point.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god. What did I ever do to you? What did I do to you? Forget about me. Where am I gonna live? Well, where am I gonna live?
Don't you remember you lost? I lost my job because of you.
You lost your job. I'm gonna lose my house.
You said what did I ever do to you? You've established the terribleness.
You did a lot.
And you've had 3 cats?
I have 3 cats. That's no one's business.
By the landlord, if he's got a zero policy, yeah, that's in your lease.
Whatever. They're clean cats.
You see what I'm dealing with, guys.
Well, you don't have to deal with it anymore, Steven, because she's out of your life. And she hurt you, you hurt her back. Now y'all just go your separate ways and leave each other alone.
Forward momentum, people.
It's on now. You just
teenager now too.
I'm sorry.
You don't know it. We like to hear the
They're
story
growing up
as
so
everybody else
fast.
does at the same time. And Steven has reached out. He's standing by to tell us a story, so let's hear it. Good morning, Steven.
Hey guys, how are you? Better than you?
Am I wrong for telling my friend that she's acting like a jealous bitch? My husband and I just moved into our dream family home with our kids. And I recently found out that I'm pregnant with our third kid. We're financially doing well. So yeah, I would say life is really good. So I was hanging out with my friends and they had asked me how life had been going for me so far. So I was telling them how happy I am with my life when my friend, let's call her Nina, interrupts and says, we have more important things to talk about this meetup, so she wanted to change the subject. Now, Nina prides herself on having really dark humor and being brutally honest. So I honestly just let it go. And that was just one instance where feelings started showing. The next one was my husband and I threw a housewarming party. It was also kind of like a pool party. Nina was also invited, as was everyone else. At the party, Nina made a comment about how we were very lucky to be able to do this. And I told her that the party was more so for the kids, so they'd be able to invite their friends and hang out. And then Nina went on a rant about how her kids would love to be able to throw parties too, but she couldn't afford it. Then it turned into another rant about how unlucky she was. I let it go because I know her ex wasn't the best, and I also know that she's not in the best financial position. Well, I announced my pregnancy at this party to our friends and family. Well, after the announcement, Nina pulled me to the side and let me know that it was incredibly rude of me to make my life seem so much better than everyone else's. And by this point, I was over all of the comments that she had been making. And I told her that this was my party, and me being happy shouldn't make her upset. She got flustered, grabbed her kids, and she left. She then posted a cryptic update on her story saying that people who brag about how well they're doing are really doing terrible. And then another one was privileged people really do forget about the little guys and only talk about themselves. She was just talking a bunch of shit. She then called me about a week later saying she wanted to talk. She then told me that I acted better than her just because I have more money and that I only do things that benefit me. I told her straight out, it's not my fault bad things happen to you. She then said that I never cared, that I was born into a rich family, which isn't true, that finding love and getting pregnant all happened for me really easily, and that I had gotten off easy in life, which again isn't true. She listed all of her hardships and the fact that her ex sucked, and she told me that I needed to stop showcasing my perfect family because it just made people jealous. I told her that I'm not to blame for her hardships and that it's not my fault that she's acting like a jealous bitch. I hung up the phone and I blocked her number. Again, she decided to throw shade on her Instagram stories, but this time she tagged me in them. She told all of our other friends, and now they're all mad at me too. I'm annoyed with her, and I'm sick of her trying to act like me being happy is a bad thing. But I did call her a bitch, and she is going through a hard time. So honestly, I'm torn. Was I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong for telling?
Ultimately, this conversation is never going to end. There are always going to be people who are very gleeful that people who they think voted in a way that they do not agree with or do not like are impacted when a natural disaster comes through. This is going to happen every single time, whether or not it's in California, whether or not it's in Hawaii, whether or not it's in Florida, Texas, wherever it happens. But the reality of the matter is, while we're making these comments while people are going through the most devastating moments in their lives, our politicians still don't have to give a fuck. While we're literally punching at each other, our politicians are blaming each other, and no real solutions are going to come about. Climate change is going to continue to ravage.
Are you thinking women from Craigslist? That's when consumption again. I mean COVID. So we're pretty chill. We're chill. This is the
What? Rent $25.
Because I'm taking this one. No smoking pipes. My ex have been using this to smoke. Oh, you're in trouble. He was obsessed with this. So healthy. Yeah. Sent me like 10 telegrams. You like fidget toys? Okay. You have a shot that we have a sink and a toilet. You don't have to throw your poop. Come with us to the dance hall. You should watch this girl. She's like crazy. She's really crazy with this
shot at that molasses. He's so slow because the molasses was taking over. Yeah, it was like in slow motion. Yeah, I can't even move. The bullet was like, the bullet didn't even go into it. Yeah, but you know, it's the thought. He gave me syphilis. But you didn't even remove from Craigslist? I swear if you have consumption again. I mean COVID. So we're pretty chill. We're chill.
I truly believe most women go to
No! Just eat pizza. Yeah. So you don't need to eat that shit.
Why does it bother you so much?
Cause it's a war crime.
Where does it say that?
God.
Have you seen this baby?
Oh, that's a good baby. He likes to lay on the floor.
Man, I gotta pick him up.
That's a baby. Yeah. This is he's purring. You like being held like this, boy? Do you? Feel those vibrations.
Yes.
He just wants attention. You good boy.
No balls.
Here we go. Little clip clip. Little clip clip. Look at all our children. The neighbor girl who they're friends with is a teenager now. So now they're just like hanging out like they normally would, but she's twice his size.
Yeah.
Even though they're like only a few, like not even a few days apart in age. But because Sim's just like, oh, they're an adult now. We still have one baby. So, but yeah, we also have teenagers.
Why does he have the beaver hair?
That's just what he came with. I didn't like, with the kids, I didn't like pick them at all. I can change their clothes, but what they look like, you can't change. It's just based, they like randomize it.
Can you give him haircuts?
No.
No? That's stupid.
Actually, maybe you can. I don't know. I just leave it be. I like not being able to like decide what the kids look like.
Everyone here, dick. Yeah, come here. Always a dick.
He's a good baby.
No, he's not. He's a dick.
Rapani.
Pushing the water from him. Because he's a dick.
Cabin he bin behab. Dun. Peppa Moy Zerxel? Dilpin.
Oh, Beppy. No, me but don't have Beppy. Operate Quas. Bebede. Macadam. Beanie Nobe.
Duvka.
Ooh. Oh, Anar.